All right, welcome everybody. This is Summer 2012 Anime Reviews brought to you by Hazardous Reviews
What's up, guys?
and Mikey Mania Chronicles.
How you doing?
Anyways, we're going to go through the Summer 2012 animes and give our opinions on it. We can go over pretty much all of them.
To some extent.
To some extent. And but between us, we should be able to cover it pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Be warned that this will be very spoiler heavy. This is meant for people who have seen the shows and want to see other perspectives on it. Feel free to, seek us out to chat or whatever if you want any discussion about this. But yeah, spoiler warning. So with that, we'll be on our way. First off, we're going to start with Kingdom.
Now, I watched all of 5 minutes of Kingdom. I'm not sure how qualified I am to comment on it.
Well,
All I know is that it was just really bad CG art, basically.
I'm sure the story is actually okay, but I'm more about visuals, and when you can't deliver good visuals to me, I can't really care about it. I did watch the first full episode, and that was actually my thoughts. I couldn't get my mind off of how bad the CG animation was, and it was really hard for me to pay attention to the characters and the story because of that. So I decided not to continue that one. So one episode's all I ever got through.
Now, you know a guy who finished it, or finished it, or watched
He
it?
is keeping up with it, and that is our JMS club president, Chris.
Oh.
He's known to watch some very oddball animes and find the good points in them, but that's just him personally, and I can't do that.
I actually saw a lot of reviews of this show online on the blogosphere, and it was never regarded too highly. Let's put it that way. It
was bad, basically. It was not a good show.
and I don't want to say something's bad because some people might think it's good, but
you didn't enjoy it.
Overall, it had kind of a negative connotation to it.
Because I didn't enjoy it. So
it's probably not one to really keep a lookout for. So, yeah, we can go ahead and skip that one.
Okay. Next is Love Alternative Total Eclipse, which I only saw about 5 episodes, but I enjoyed what I saw. Matt, you're keeping up with it, so...
Yeah, I actually really like this show. I'm just going to let everyone who does view this know. I know this is based off of a manga. I have never read it, and I don't intend to, because I just don't read manga. I don't play visual novels, I don't read light novels, and it's mainly because it's not that I don't want to give them a chance, it's just that I don't have time. So I am a fan of mech, and that's mainly why I wanted to watch this series. So I went blindly into this, not knowing anything about it, and the one thing I've discovered is it's a lot like Blue Gender cross Top Gun, in the sense that they're all in these mechanical machines fighting this bug-type race that's basically taking over the planet. And then it's like Top Gun in a sense
like Reapers or something? So Reapers are taking over the planet?
No.
So you have mechs fighting Reapers, and then that's how it works out?
No.
Okay.
But in the sense that it's like Top Gun, is the main characters kind of interact with each other the way that they did in the movie Top Gun. There's this ace pilot who's very confident, very full of himself, and when he comes across this lieutenant who is basically telling him that he has to change his strategy, he doesn't want to, and eventually you kind of see like a romance between them, but not really. It's not blatant, but it's there. And I'm pretty sure we're going to see more of that as the show goes on. It hasn't concluded yet, so...
sexual tension is thick.
Kind of. I mean, that is
most shows, actually.
But if you think about, if you've seen the movie Top Gun and the relationship that Tom Cruise's character has with that lieutenant, or whatever rank she was, and the fact that they ended up having a romance by the end of it, it's kind of like that. So that's why I say this show is like Blue Gender and Top Gun put together. I actually didn't realize this until late, but there are some big name voice actors in this show. Ono Daisuke being one of them, and Noto Mamiko, which is actually your favorite voice
I
actor.
love her. It's my real life waifu.
Which is why I'm surprised you're not watching this show, despite the fact because you watch Arcana Famiglia based on that.
Well,
That
Okay.
was a bad decision on your part, wasn't it?
So, Love Alternative, it's not so much that I assumed it'd be a bad show, but much like how you like Mecha, I don't care for it, mainly because, I mean, I've seen, like, Gundam Seed was very, very early on for me, and, you know, back then I didn't mind. I was like, I'll watch anything. But as I watch shows like, you know, I watch, like, Demon Bane, I watch, like, Code Geass, Full Metal Panic, I thought to myself, you know, I like the shows with the mechas where the mechas aren't like the main plot-driven point. Like in Gundam, it was like, crap, they got a bigger Gundam. Oh crap, they have this Gundam blows up planets. Like whatever. I really didn't care for Gundam as much. And after seeing Kanzuki no Miko, which is pretty much like mechas and lesbian chicks, I was like, I don't really care to see another show about mechs.
I was surprised at how just bloody and kind of dark it was in the beginning.
It is
Like that kind of actually kept my interest more than anything else, which maybe says something about
Well,
me
and
as a
I-
person.
But I guess mainly, I don't know. I guess it's because I felt that this season as a whole, and as we go through this, you guys will see that this season was actually very heavy on romantic comedy, slice of life comedy,
which have their place.
and it does. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like those things. It's just, you know, down to my roots. I like seinen anime most, like, you know, serious business, for lack of a better way to describe it.
I think I'm a harem guy at heart.
You would.
Well, let's say my first manga was Love Hina, so that says something about me.
There you go.
Also, I love camphor.
Oh.
There's camphor. Put that out.
Anyways,
Okay,
so
show.
next we have Chohyaku Hyakunin Nishu Otakai.
Koi.
So-
It's a koi.
I was interested in the show because I was the only one in the world who liked Chihaya for You, which was about a card game based around the 100 famous poems. And I loved this show so much, I watched 2 episodes and then stopped watching it. Now, to be fair, I wanted to watch more of it, I just never got around to watching more of it.
Uh-huh.
But what I did watch, I enjoyed at the very least. It has a really nice kind of, almost kind of watercolor simplistic art style that really hit me.
It uses an art style where all the characters are drawn with thick black lines around it. If you remember that show Hyake Roran, the Samurai Girls.
Oh,
it also
Samurai
did
Girls?
that.
Yeah,
Thick
that
black
show
lines around
was
it.
a thing.
It's an art style that, you know, they just like to do sometimes. I mean, this didn't have the best, you know, art quality in the world.
Yeah, but it did.
I mean, thank you.
It did its job.
Yeah, you didn't watch it. I don't think.
I watched one episode and I thought it was compared to everything else, it was just a little boring, and I don't really know anything. This actually is really sad because I'm studying Japanese, but I know nothing about the 100 romantic poems. So, but I wanted to try and give it a chance at least, but overall, just compared to everything that came out, I just found it to be a little too boring. So I found myself, you know, whenever I have time to watch stuff, I'm usually kind of tired, or I'm winding down at the end of the day, and this show would actually kind of put me to sleep a little bit. So it was hard for me to pay attention.
I can definitely imagine that. I mean, so what this show really tried to do is it took the Hyakunin Ishu is a compiled book of like 100 famous romantic poems long time ago in the Japanese era, and it wanted to animate and visualize how these poems came to be, why they were written, and what they meant. And it was fun. I watched the whole thing, and I enjoyed it for the most part. It wasn't a show you go to, like Matt said, you know, to, oh man, I can't wait for this hype poem. But I mean,
Poem's so hype.
oh god, gotta get my poem. But it was really nice. It was very heartwarming at times, and, you know, depressing at others, really sad. But it was a good insight, and apparently everything from it was true. They actually, the TYOs and animations, I mean, they didn't make up crap with this. But what I found out while I was watching it is a lot of these poems, it's like, oh man, these are very famous poems and everything. And I'm like, personally, I thought the poems were just something someone would say sarcastically on like some night. Like you're out at dinner, you just say something dumb. Like, oh man, the burger's juices are flowing.
That sounds
like
like
the soda comes.
something you'd find like the inside of like a Dove chocolate wrapper.
Yeah. It's,
Oh God.
I mean, I'm not gonna. I don't want to discredit the great poets of the era, but it's funny for them to get so worked up. Like, oh, what a fantastic poet he was. You wrote 10 words.
Like maybe that wasn't your best work. Maybe you could have done,
But anyways, I recommend this if you're interested about old Japanese era like poetry, and it's a good show. I'm not gonna take away from it. It's very easy on the eyes in terms of there aren't any ugly animations, but it's nothing to be like, oh my god, that was beautiful.
Okay.
Anyways, so going on. Oh boy.
The next show.
It's called Koi to Senkyo to Chocolate,
It's called a chocolate.
or translated Love and Election and Chocolate. That's what Senkyo means.
It's love and erections. It's love and erections. Don't get it wrong.
Okay.
I like chocolate a lot. I like that show a lot.
Okay. Well, based on a PC game, basically this group of people are in a club, and what they do is they basically eat snacks and hang out.
It is a food like appreciation club.
Pretty much. Mm-hmm. And they are facing being disbanded by this.
The president's like, hey, you guys don't do anything like interesting or relevant or important.
Or productive.
So we're going to shut you down.
And they decide to force the one guy to run for the election and become president of the student council so that they can not have to face being disbanded. So overall, I did finish the show. I actually found it to be... the first episode really caught me by surprise. It was actually very dark. And I was like, what in the heck?
But at the same token, do you like yaoi sticks?
Oh man, the yaoi sticks. All right, well, that's
From now on, white chocolate is named yaoi sticks.
That is a running gag in the show, and it's pretty funny. But yeah, after that initial scene, it completely turns around and does a 180, and becomes more of a romantic comedy.
Yeah. So it has a person like weird espionage, like spy photo thing taken, and then the lady gets run down by a car.
Jeez.
And then we're like, all right, time to go to school, guys. Wake up, man. You're going to be late for school. Let's go. By dude being waken up by childhood friend by mounting him saying you're going to be late.
Yeah, that show had some twisted settings in that first episode.
Okay, let's talk about the school in this show. This school is the most intense, just like involved technical school you've ever been to. There's like so much shit going on all the time.
The school runs itself. It's like they're their own separate country with their own set of laws.
There were like 2 teachers in that entire school.
Like, and they didn't do anything
except drink. I mean, they had a beer keg in the club room.
Yeah.
For the teacher. I want to go there.
But I mean, the school. Okay, so in this anime, the school has like the school is owned by like the students. Like hell, the hospital is owned by the students. The students run the school. Like they get away with like knocking people out, like bringing them into rooms, interrogating them, tasering them.
Yeah,
and they have their own Illuminati at the school.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much.
Where's the police? What are the teachers doing? Like,
the students are the police.
Oh no, we got someone kidnapped by the students, by the people who are in charge of security. That made no sense. It's really hard to like it's a suspension of disbelief to think the students control everything. Like that girl, I don't even think she was 16. She's driving that car, running bitches down.
Yeah.
Like
yes.
Oh my lord. But I think what really bugged me in this show, they would focus on some of the characters early on. They would give them a lot of screen time, like the girl who was on financial aid, the guy who was like totally into yaoi sticks, and he was like he made every gay joke possible. It was really funny, but they tried to like stuff all the characters into like the early show because they just want to focus on the plot line of him getting elected throughout the later half. And I just feel like they shoved aside too many of the side characters that were enjoyable to watch. Mm-hmm. And then Chisato, the main girl, and the guy have a falling out no less than 3 times during this show.
Dude, I've never seen a girl friend zoned so hard than I've seen in that show.
Oh my lord.
He friend zoned her really super hard. You almost feel bad for her at that point.
You kind of do, but
I mean, he had a valid reason,
Yeah.
but
well, that's the thing. The guy, I gotta give it to that guy. He's pretty smart realizing that she's not like into him for him. He's kind of like her dead brother's replacement, and he realized that and was saying, no, this isn't real. I can't do this. So. If you think about it, you can't just go along with something like that. If you know that that's what's going on, that's kind of messed up. So, but overall, I really didn't have that big of a problem with this show, other than the fact that I thought that it took way too long to conclude what you saw in the first episode in that opening scene, because this whole time, you're watching it and it's almost like you forget about it, but you kind of don't, because you're like, okay, when are you going to get to this? And then at that point you're annoyed because they don't get to it until the end. But when you do see it though, everything lines up and there's no confusion, there's no I didn't see any holes, like anything they left out. So as far as that goes, I really didn't have that.
There are some logical leaps you have to make.
Yeah.
There aren't really holes per se.
Yeah. It's really suspension of disbelief. This whole show is suspension of disbelief. Like the president of the public safety committee, all these henchmen come from nowhere. He's got an army.
Yeah.
Where do these guys come from?
Yeah.
It's like that part was kind of odd to me. But
what I appreciated was that this is not really a harem comedy, but it's kind of in the structure of a harem comedy.
Yeah.
For the guy, the male lead is not stupid, which is usually the case in a harem comedy, and I appreciated that.
I did too.
Because harem comedies usually have a really low bar for their male leads.
Right. And that's the thing. This show had good characters. It had an interesting plot, but I would have to take a grade away from it just for pacing and how the director chose to go about doing the source material. That's what I would take away from it.
8 out of 10 would watch again?
I would 8 out of 10 probably wouldn't watch again, but I would recommend it to people. I would recommend it.
All right, next.
Oh boy.
この中に一人元がいる. Translated, my sister is among them, and I'm sure if you literally translate that, that's not what that means. But all right, well. This is actually one of those shows I enjoyed a little bit more than a lot of the rest of the season. So this guy, his father on his deathbed, basically he's going to inherit the company, and his father's wish is to find a suitable companion to marry and live out the rest of his life with. And keep in mind,
his son,
yes, and he's in high school, so he is surrounded by. This is a typical harem setting, and one of them is his sister, and he has to figure out which one. Except the problem is, he goes through several ordeals in which he's not sure, because more than several of them claim to be his sister, or if they don't, they still call him Oni-chan, which is brother.
Dude, all those chicks want his dick really hard. They all want it.
Mm-hmm.
That is a harem-ass harem show. And now this picture in this chart is kind of a spoiler now. Because if you think about it, okay, well, now we know at this point. And it's pretty brazen about it too.
That's the sad part. Is when I was watching this show, I was like, okay, they're gonna pull some crazy ending that no one would expect.
No.
Well, let me tell you one thing. No. I didn't expect it. I didn't expect for the ending to be so straightforward and bland.
Yeah. You're my sister. I'll care about you. All right, let's just go.
But I try to think of the source material, and I guess it was just a light novel. But think about if it was a game. I mean, this feels like an Arrow game. When you watch the show, you feel like it came from an Arrow game.
Yeah.
And I can imagine the game being every time you go for a character, the game chooses that character to be your sister, so you can't win.
It just fucks with you the entire time.
It's oh man, don't stick your dick in the wrong one or you get a retard. I mean, it's like losing Russian roulette.
Yeah, I don't know, sometimes in harems you want to ship dudes. I wanted to ship that maid cafe chick with.
I did not.
I did not like her.
I liked her a lot.
No, I thought she was
OTP in my opinion.
No, I won't go as far as to say she was a pointless character, but I think
she was an obstacle.
she got, I think, a little bit more screen time than I would have given her had I been in charge. I don't know, and some people
Well, there's an important reason. She was the clock block of the show. She was the one who knew who the sister was.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Hey, I'm not going to tell you. Just watch. Keep watching the show." I could tell you right now. No, we're not going to do that. I'm like, just tell us.
She had still one of the best lines in the entire show.
No, the best line in the show was the espionage chick,
girl?
the ninja girl that stayed had that, I don't know, that would be naked in his room.
Yeah.
And
If we hug long enough, I think it was.
No, it was a different one.
No, but the best line that came out of her though was, "You should try and make babies with both of them and marry whichever one gets pregnant first."
Which is a really great and horrible thing to say. I like the maid chick was said, like, we could have a beautiful child with both business acumen and taste for what's moe.
Oh,
which
God.
I enjoyed that a lot.
Oh,
No, but the espionage chick, the one that was living with him, when she first met him, she was like, "Oh, let's practice making babies. How do you do it? Don't we just hug long enough?"
We were just hug in bed. And I can't believe anyone thought she was a guy. I mean, I guess that's just harem. That's just anime logic happening. But how do you not see her and say, "Oh yeah, that's a dude, totally a guy"?
I don't know, man. Now to fool
Either way,
everybody.
this
And
show-
the girls tried to ship them both for some reason.
You know what? If I were me, I would ship the guy and her though, because she was the best female character in that series, at least for me.
She totally was. But
It's a fun show. I'd recommend it.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't watch it again, obviously, because it is a show where like the whole point of watching is to find out who the sister is. So once you're done watching, you're like, well,
Okay,
now I know who the sister is.
Well, you know.
But the
truth.
ending's pretty straightforward. There's no like big weird twist.
Yeah, there's nothing jaw dropping. So
we have to address this next show. I can't pronounce it.
Moyashiman.
Moyashiman returns.
No one here watched that.
I watched it.
You watched it. Oh fuck me. Okay,
I
fine.
watched it too.
Okay, well shit.
Bitch.
I'll sit right here and be quiet.
So this is actually the second season of this series, and this is about a college student who can see and communicate with microorganisms like bacteria. So, it's pretty entertaining, to say the least.
I think the first Moyashiman came out about 3 years ago, between 3 or 4 years ago.
It's 2000. It had to be the end of 2008 or the beginning of 2009.
Okay.
It's pretty. It's kind of old.
I honestly thought it would never get a sequel, but it got a sequel, and it's not by the same. It's not by the same animation studio either. Man, I don't even know. I don't know where to go with this. The thing about the show is that it's actually pretty slow, and my main problem with the second season is that it focused so little on the fact that Sawashiro could see the microorganisms. It focused on this girl running away and them trying to get her back to the bacteria school, to the fermenting school.
Yeah, that did kind of take away from that whole thing, but I think maybe it's just because since they've already established that he can do this, it's like, okay, we get it, time to, you know...
But they spent 12 episodes just trying to get a friend back. It was kind of boring. I'm just saying, in relation to the first series, it wasn't as interesting. It wasn't as, like, as quirky and cool and fun to watch.
And then, in the first season, they were trying to establish the whole, his whole ability to do this and cope with it and deal with it. So I think once they've already figured that out, and it's kind of just commonly accepted by the viewers, I think they again, it's not the same studio, so I guess maybe they tried something different. And it just, I personally thought it was a bit too slow as well. But most of the time, when something gets a second season, if I watch the first one, I tend to try to keep up with it.
Yeah, me too.
So, but other than that, there really isn't much to say about this show. If you've seen the first one, or if you've read the manga, if you enjoyed it, then definitely check it out. There are some really boring parts. There is some slow pacing issues that I ran into. Actually, I did fall asleep during one of the episodes at my desk because, I had been working 11 hours, but, that aside, I was too tired and I just couldn't watch the episode.
Do not watch this series if you haven't seen the first series. It'll make no sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's, I don't know. If you really like the first season, then you can check it out. If you thought the first season was okay, then you could probably just skip it. It probably wasn't worth it. Going on Natsuyuki Rendezvous.
You guys finished this? I did not finish it.
Yeah.
I liked what I saw. And I really have no idea why I didn't finish it, because I really would like that show had I finished it, but
So this show
as it
is
is.
so this show is about a guy who is 22 years old, and he falls in love with a flower shop owner, and to get close to her, he gets a part-time job there.
His apartment's creepy. He buys a flower there every day just to see her, and they're just strewn all over his apartment.
He does, yeah.
Can't even walk in there.
And then when he does get there, he realizes there is this other man that apparently only he can see. And he wonders about this until he finds out that it is actually the husband of this girl that owns it. And he had died from an illness years ago before he even knew her. So now he can see this ghost, and usually, if you know the common knowledge about ghosts is that the reason why they are still here is because they either are tied down by regret or unfinished business, and that is why they cannot rest. Well, his is, in this case, because here comes this guy who is trying to make a move on this girl that he was once married to, and he's saying, no, like, nobody can have her. So, and I'm going to make sure of that. So he constantly gets in the way. Every time he tries to make a move, this ghost tries to screw it up somehow. And it's basically about him trying to deal with getting around him and trying to get this girl to move on and realize, okay, he's gone, there's nothing you can do about it. I'm sure that he would want you to be happy and move on with your life, and you can't do that if all you're going to do is not get over him. So the second half of the show really weirded me out, though, because of how unrealistic it was.
Well, it was pretty unrealistic from the beginning.
Yeah.
There was a ghost.
Yeah. I mean, so it's a bit of a fantasy. You kind of have to just, okay, this is their universe, accept it. At one point, he gets drunk, and this ghost has been asking him to lend him his body. And he agrees to it because he's half passed out anyways. And then that's when the show kind of takes off in a different direction. And this ghost basically is now this guy. And he is trying to communicate with this girl because at first he's surprised. He doesn't know what to say because I physically have a body now. What do I do? What do I say? There's a lot that I could say, but it's not coming from me as far as she's concerned because she still thinks that it's, this other guy. And so the problem I had with this show, oddly enough, is the pacing with this one is a little bit slow. There's no jaw-dropping cliffhangers. It is strictly a romantic drama, and it is enjoyable for what that is. And I'm glad it was only, 11, 12 episodes?
It was 11, yeah.
11, okay. If it had gone on any longer than that, I probably would have dropped it because I think that they summed it all up pretty well. They resolved everything in a decent amount of time. It's just when he went into that fairy tale world with Thumbelina, and there was a couple other ones, but that was when it started getting a little far-fetched, and at times it got boring. So it was a little hard for me to keep going. I was kind of worn out by the time it finished, and I was a little relieved.
Well, so in this show, I mean, they gave what was his name? The main guy, Hazuki, yeah. They try and build up Hazuki as a really likable character. He's a really nice guy. Like I said, he went to this flower shop every day just to buy flowers so you could see. Her name's Roka something. Let's just call it Roka-chan.
Yeah.
And but I mean, and then they enter the ghost of the ex-husband, the deceased husband, and she can't get over him. That's kind of one of the main plot points. He told her when he was on his deathbed, "Get rid of everything to me. Let go of me. Go on, live your life." And she couldn't do that. I think that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons why he was tied down as a ghost. If from the moment that the ghost starts asking him to use his body, at some point he's just going to do it.
Yeah.
Like, they wouldn't bring that up if they weren't going to use that. And I was fine with that. And I was like, all right, so they're swapping, whatever. I expected to last maybe 2 or 3 episodes. It lasted the entire rest of the series.
Yeah.
And in a show where I'm trying to watch the main character develop a good relationship with somebody and get through these troubles, then they go back and pretty much destroy everything. And at the end, she's like, who did I fall in love with? My ex-husband again or the new guy? Because she didn't know they had swapped bodies until like 2 episodes from the end. And so, that's... It was kind of depressing to just be like, I really just want to see the main character and the girl get together.
Yeah.
I would recommend it if you're a romantic buff. Otherwise, it probably puts you to sleep.
Yeah. It's definitely targeted more towards girls, but despite that, I thought overall it was okay. I don't regret watching it. Would I watch it again? No. Heck no. But all right.
So you're saying I should not go back and finish that show?
It depends on
It depends how much free time you have.
Yeah. Not a lot. So no is the answer to that question. All right, next is Campione. Or
Campione.
If you want to be.
Based off a light novel, and which I never read because I don't read light novels.
That show's a blur right now. That show's a blur.
I only watched a handful of episodes.
I watched like 3.
Because, okay, so this guy is delivering something to a relative of his.
In like what? Like was it Rome?
Italy.
Italy. Well, probably Rome.
Think. And so this girl comes across him and realizes that this thing he's carrying holds a kind of power, and he's like, yo, man, I don't know what this is. I'm just delivering this. And then he comes to find out that there's all this mystical powers and, gods that fight each other, and he basically becomes her campione.
The King of Kings?
King of Kings.
Triple H.
By actually...
He is that damn good?
He uses one of these... He uses a power to slay a god, and he obtains its power.
Now how do they go about doing that? Because that's all really weird how that happens.
He does it in the first episode, and... It was by this sword that can cut divinity itself.
But he used some kind of weird stone tablet.
It's the one he was carrying.
Yeah.
And the thing is she's explaining all this to him, and it's not making any sense, and he doesn't really get it. But then when
all of a sudden he's like, bitch, shut up, I got this shit. And then he goes and he just kills that guy.
He does it, and it's like he knows what he's doing, and that he's like having fun with it. And I kind of didn't like that. I was like, okay,
she's
whatever.
Like, oh, he's so hot. I want to give him my baby. So,
Well, okay, we'll get to that. But,
yeah.
But basically, he starts acquiring all these different powers. Like think of the talismans in the Jackie Chan adventures. It's kind of like that. He gets these. He gets these powers from each of these different ancient creatures, and they all do different things. Like the bull gives him strength.
So like Pokemon.
Something or whatever gives him speed. He can only use one of them per battle though, and he has to rest to get them all back. So
it's like Udyr.
So he can't use them on command every single day. Shut up, Mike.
Why say I enjoyed it?
But the reason why I dropped this show is because after the initial battle, the next couple episodes became more about this girl flirting with him, trying to get with him, and he thinks that it's only because that he's become this king. There's a couple other characters that
like 140-year-old like Damon woman.
Yeah, and that's where it gets kind of weird. And honestly, I didn't care anymore. I was like, well, whatever. I thought this was gonna be a battle like constant gods fighting gods all the time, and I thought that'd be really cool. And there's this high school kid that is tied along like somewhere in this, and I thought, all right, I'll give it a chance. But it just didn't really interest me all that much at a point, so I stopped.
I remember Campione was one of the first shows to air last season, and I was like, oh, well, it's getting some hype. There's people watching it. I'm hearing not bad things, but the plot seemed retarded, and I didn't care to watch it, and it was just like, this is not going to interest me at all. And then, like, 3 weeks into the season, I never heard a word about it again.
Yeah.
It just fell off. I was like, what happened? Like,
probably nothing. That's probably what happened. Nothing.
Well, what studio did this? Yeah.
Diarrhea.
I
Diarrhea.
don't know much about them, so I I don't know what else they've done. So
not much.
Obviously.
Our next show.
Well, let's put it this way. Well, quickly, would you recommend that based off what you saw?
Well, okay, if you are the type of person who likes, typical like anime, like fan service type comedy, there is some of that, quite a bit of that in this, but if at the same time you like that in a combination with really just trying to be over the top, like overpowered abilities like of dudes fighting each other, then you might like
If you like gods killing gods.
Yeah, I mean
it's
it's on the same concept as I believe like the Greek or the Roman gods, that they are not invincible, and that they can actually duel each other. But they never actually die, though. That's the thing. They rest.
Well, if you remember Clash of the Titans with Liam Neeson, that sweet movie that apparently sucked.
Yeah.
That was about gods killing each other.
It's great.
Probably.
Okay. But
Anyways.
Speaking of fan service,
Oh God,
guys,
this next show
we have Hagure Yusha no Aesthetica,
which
is pretty much just hentai.
Okay.
It's pretty much just like incest.
I'm gonna let you guys finish. I'm just gonna say one thing. 2 episodes in, I read a review. Said guy goes around raping women.
Rape is a strong word.
And I'm like, I don't even care what the show's about. If that's how someone describes the show, I'm not gonna watch it. So, whatever.
It's not that, but you're not far off.
Well, okay, so this guy, there's traveling dimensions. He basically, he's like this.
It starts off cool.
Yeah, it does. It really does. He is in another a world, and he becomes a hero there. When he returns to the real world, he's transferred to basically this international organization called Babel, and it's basically like a school for people who are returning from other worlds. But the thing is you retain all your memories from there, and you retain all your abilities that you may have acquired or learned. So it's basically like a school where you practice controlling them, honing them, and they actually kind of have like these little duels with each other. But the problem with this show is
it likes tits a lot.
There
it
is
likes tits and tits.
There is nudity in this show.
Just unabashed, just not care about.
Yeah, it's very distasteful humor.
Lets it all hang out.
So that's the main problem I had with it. But the character was okay. This male,
how he fights is underhanded and effective.
It kind of is.
The first fight, he was trying to escape the dimension he was in because he had stolen something.
I heard the dimension was very nice. I don't know why he was trying to escape.
No.
Because of all the maids that were there.
He didn't steal anything. He was just trying to go home, but they didn't want him to leave because he was their hero. He was the guy that saved them all from
the princess.
From God knows
got
what.
Down with the princess, and then all right, peace later, and then left. Then he got surrounded by some kind of weird maid's corpse.
Like ninja maids.
And then he fought them. And the way he fought them is that they would try to jump him, and they miss, and then he would jump away, and he would have all their underwear. And then they'd all go, Kia! And they'd all cover themselves up, and he'd run away.
And that is actually how he fights.
Which is underhanded, but against the right lady, that'd work out.
Yeah, but there's...
I would panties.
I'd do that if it worked.
I was waiting for some guy to do that.
Oh, finally.
But it's just, okay, the action sequences in the show were okay, but it's just you're okay. You're gonna combine this with just blatant nudity that's not even in taste.
We forgot. When he came back, he came home and he had like a piece of luggage, and in the luggage was a naked girl.
Oh yeah.
Hey.
Who was he's like, yeah, you're my sister now.
And she's actually the daughter of the demon king that he slayed. And basically
Is that the pink hair girl?
Yes.
Okay.
She basically, he basically said take care of her because you've beaten me, so do whatever. But
fuck, that wasn't worth it.
and she's, she kind of goes along with it, and then you find out
I'm used to be kind of chill about the whole thing.
Well, the thing you find out later is that she's actually plotting some kind of revenge against him.
Oh, good.
There's also the issue of there's this president of the student council who has some dumb ability or whatever that, and this guy, I mean, obviously he gets kind of bullied around because people don't like him, but he's a strong character. He's not weak by any means. Like, he can fight. It's just that this show overall, like, the premise and the setting is just really dumb, and I couldn't care about it anymore.
There was a deal-breaking scene for me, in which, like, they were in gym class, and he is friends with many girls, and so I forgot somehow, but somehow they got locked in like the locker room and couldn't get out, and then he's like, maybe I should break the wall down. Like, no, we can't break the wall down. It'll cost us money. So they wait, and then all of a sudden, the girls have to pee super, super bad.
Oh God, yeah.
And have to pee really bad, and she's like
Yosuke Hanamura.
Yeah, and he's like, just go over around the corner and pee. He's like, no, I can't pee there. And then she's like gonna burst basically, and he's like, okay, well, I don't want you to feel embarrassed. I'm gonna do this. So he like uses some kind of like key or energy, and touches the two other girls on like their stomach, and then they all have to pee really, really bad.
So
and
he makes them both pee.
And then really bad, and then someone comes to unlock the door, and then the girls pee themselves.
It reminds me of like Kiss X Sis, but we're not going to go into that.
Yeah, let's not go. No.
So, anyways,
I'm like, all right, I am done with this show forever. Good.
If you like shows that have blatant, nudity and fan service in there just for the sake of being there, with no real purpose, on top of a guy who's got this sleight of hand ability to steal a girl's underwear during battle, well, then
there you go.
By all
Happy
means,
birthday,
by all means. But I mean, I'm just, what I can't care about it.
It is for someone. It is not for me.
It's. I thought the show was really dumb. I stopped after about episode 5 or 6.
So next up here we have Renee No Lagrange season 2, which I guess this is going to be just me because I'm the only one who watched it.
I watched some of season 1 and did not like it, so that's part of it.
This title, doesn't it mean like Flower of Lagrange or something like that?
It's like Flower of the Declaration of Flower.
The Declaration of Flower Declaration of Your Heart is what
that
is what they put.
That sounds anime as hell.
Well, I'm just say this again: Kanazuki no Miko, lesbians and mechas. So have fun.
Chicks with nice hips. Yeah.
Well, okay. I guess what really got me was that this was an original animation. So I wanted to check it out at least. The first season was good. I liked it. They ended it on a cliffhanger, and I was just like, oh God, like there is a second season. Okay. So yes, very lesbian undertones. That is a prominent thing. So I'm not gonna deny that, but it's not blatant in your face. Like a lot of other distasteful animes that I will not name.
Name them.
No, I am not going to. Also because like story is done by Production IG. And so that's why I was like, okay, that means that this story will be good. Their execution, there were some parts I would question. There were some pacing issues. But I really like all the characters. They all complement each other really well. And the visuals in this show are top-notch. That's another thing that really drew me in was how visually awesome it looked. The characters were very sharp. The details during the mech fights were very detailed and very smooth. And that's why I really, really enjoyed it. Like, a lot of times with animation, when you have really fast moving scenes, the frames per second actually slows down a little bit, and you don't get as much detail out of it. You get
or sometimes they do like tricks, like they do like the speed lines, and like it's going fast. Trust me.
It's a And this one they don't really do that so much. They fully animate everything, and they keep it 30 frames per second or higher. And that's one thing I really appreciated with it. Story-wise, I mean, it did get a little convoluted at times. I did have to go back and kind of recap some of the things that had happened because there was a few things I was a little confused about. But overall, though, I was pretty satisfied with it. It actually just ended a couple weeks ago, and the way they concluded it was excellent. Like it didn't do anything overbearing, and it didn't do anything like super generic, but it wasn't anticlimactic either, and that was another thing that I really appreciated with this show. So if you like mech shows but that are serious business, like Gundam 00 or I'd say Blue Gender maybe, then I would not recommend this actually, because there's a lot of school life drama and comedy in this show, but at least it's clever and it's creative, and there's a bit of slapstick humor in there as well to just kind of make it a little bit more enjoyable, but they don't do it out of place. That's the nice thing about it, is when you go from a serious moment to to joking, to laughing, to crying, whatever, it all transitions really well. So I didn't see any issues there. Other than that, if you're not the biggest fan of mechs, don't worry so much about it. They don't focus on them really all that much until crucial parts, when they go into this ancient being that existed thousands of years ago. Maybe not thousands, but I don't remember the exact number they used, but it doesn't focus on them like Gundam, and that is kind of nice, even though I like Gundam. But overall, though, if you are against mechs, like if you don't like them, and you don't really want to see that kind of stuff at all, then just skip it. Because most of the fight scenes do take place in the air or in space in these suits. So I would definitely just pass on this one if you're not a fan. But if you don't mind them though and want a good story and good characters, then I would definitely recommend giving this one a shot.
Why does it say Mecha Nissan Motors?
So, where?
Mecha Nissan Motors.
Mecha Nissan Motors is my new Japanese
Shut the fuck up. Anyways.
motorcycle company I'm going to make when I graduate from college. We're going to build motors with Idolmaster paint jobs.
You know what? Just go to Japan. They already do it. Okay, we're going to go on to the big elephant in the room here.
The best elephant in the room, I think.
It's a big elephant. It's not the best elephant, I don't think, but it's a big one.
Of this season, I'd actually have to say it was the best.
Yeah. I know there's another one you're itching to talk about, but we'll get to
just
that.
getting there.
But right now, Sword Art Online. Right now, my top show this season. Easily.
Yeah, I'd have to say it probably is.
It's top 3.
Top 3 for sure. For me personally, it is my number 1 of just this season.
Not the year.
Not the year, no.
But
basically, you like MMOs, you like virtual reality. Well,
damn right.
Well, you're now in this world and you cannot log out.
Fuck.
If your HP rate reaches 0, you die.
Oh no!
What? Oh shit! I don't want to play this game.
I want to log out now.
Too bad. You're locked in.
How can I get out?
You beat the game. It's a 100-floor dungeon. Beat the final boss.
Oh. Okay. Well, let's get grinding.
Okay, I'm just gonna say right now, if anyone has not caught up to the show,
Don't
just
skip
this
forward.
part. I'm gonna lay down the whole thing.
Just lay down.
Yeah, but if you want to say something first, go for it.
Okay. This is a really good show. It's a really good show. I mean, the art is really solid. Animation's great. How it kind of plays with MMO tropes, I really like that. I think. How far in the future is this? Where we have virtual reality hats?
It's like 2020 something.
That sounds awesome.
20XX.
Nerve Gear, I think it is. Nerve Gear.
Yeah, it's the Nerve
64.
Gear. Nerve Gear 64. Get the expansion pack.
Rumble pack. Makes it
Yeah.
feel nice. So it is about the show about the guy who is in this MMO called Sword Art Online. And then it's like he's in the show and he's trying to log out, but the log out option is taken away. And then they're kind of like teleported to like this town square where the head guy who made this game says, "Hey guys, now that you're all here, so this is kind of awkward.
10,000 players logged in.
So you guys can log out unless you beat the game. And to beat the game, you must, clear all 100 floors. And if you try to log, if you die in here, you die in real life.
Yeah, there's a microwave emitter in the nerve gear. Some oversight. Don't know how that got into the.
Yeah.
But it will fry your brain.
And if someone takes the thing off you,
In real life.
then your brain gets fried.
Yeah.
He's out, and then he lives, and then all hell breaks loose.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention, they do. He does actually activate this thing that basically transforms everyone in the game to what they actually look like in real life, for whatever reason.
It's really funny when like the chick who's like always guy, that's happened turns around. Oh, you're a dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was
just awkward.
dude. No, it happened. I mean, that's the thing. That's a very common thing.
Now he can't sit in the town square and dance for gold anymore.
Nope.
So, down to the nitty gritty. I can't really say a whole lot of bad things about this show. Not that I would want to. I'm not trying to look at bad things, unless it's something.
Unless it's our next show.
Unless it's something that's really bothering. That,
Like our next show.
oh yeah, just you wait till we get to that. But I like where it's progressed. I felt like they progressed a little fast at points. There was an episode where, at the beginning of the episode, the subtitle tells you that they are on like floor 20 or 30 something, and it is like May of 2024. By the end of the episode, and anime episodes are only about 20 some minutes.
Yeah.
By the end of the episode, it is December 24th of that same year, and he's jumped like 35, 40 levels. And we're just like,
That
what?
was a big skip.
So,
As far as the show right now, it's been over this like span of like 2.5 years. They've been in this one game.
Yeah, about 2 years.
and we're episode
And
14.
like guilds have created to, clear the floors and stuff like that, and there's like a kind of like a structure, like almost an hierarchy, not really, but kind of like a hierarchy of like military power, with the express purpose of clearing this game. They're also like splinter groups and also like bandit groups, stuff like that, player killers, which are as you can guess, not nice. So yeah. But I think the real focus is the romance between the main guy and this girl named Asuna,
Yeah, Kirito and Asuna.
who is like the lieutenant captain of what is the guild called? Like the
Knights of the Blood Oath.
Knights of the Blood Oath. And they hinted this entire series where in the beginning he teamed with her parties with her for a bit to help clear this first level boss, and then later he goes. Does his own thing, comes back and finds her again as lieutenant captain. And they have, like, a budding romance culminating in, like, him saving her life or something, then them becoming friends. And he is a guy who he's a solo player. He is a beater, as they call it. What they call a beta cheater, which I think is a really dumb name.
Yeah, I do too. He was originally a beta tester for this game, so he kind of knows some of the stuff already. And that's why, because of that, it kind of gives him an unfair advantage. So a beta cheater, a beater is what they call him. And I agree, I thought it was kind of dumb.
But the concept, or you just don't like beta cheaters?
The concept of, like, how they came up with that word.
Oh, I think it was funny. I don't know.
But
especially when the Japanese do it, like
Beta
beta cheat, beta.
They actually they stop addressing it after about episode 4 or 5. It becomes less of an issue because
They better think that Lucky Star Stone knows how to play the game because he's going to save their lives.
pretty much, yeah. This is going to be a spoiler right here. So again, just a reminder. If you don't want this part spoiled, then please skip this. But basically, they discover that there are changes made to this game by the guy who created it, so that a lot of the things that he knew about a dungeon or a level or something like that is now been changed. So he now has to adapt.
He must observe, adapt, overcome. Like Marines?
Yes.
Okay.
But eventually they do start clearing some levels, and it progresses pretty quick. At this point, they're on episode 14. That just aired yesterday, actually.
As was recording yesterday.
As of this recording, which is October 6th?
7th.
7th, okay. October 7th. So yes, as of the 6th, they're on episode 14. They get to floor, I believe, 75, and they fight this boss, or they go into this boss room, a whole bunch of them, and it has 4 health bars. Now, this kind of bothered me just a little bit. Last week's episode, the 29th to the 30th of September, it ended with them opening the door and attacking this boss, and they had gone through a few seconds of battle, and they hadn't moved any of his health bar. The beginning of this last episode was with the boss almost dead, and basically the guy just going, well, bam, you're dead.
I don't think anyone wants to watch them beat on a boss for that
Except
that
it was-
fight must have taken like 3 hours. That's like the end game WoW boss.
It was that other boss. So we skipped ahead a bit. There was this other boss where apparently dude is some kind of weird savant guy who apparently got an ability that no one else in the game can get, which is basically dual wielding. He can dual wield 2 one-handed swords. And he soloed a boss by himself and almost died in the process.
Like a boss.
That was pretty fucking
like
cool.
a boss. And that actually, I don't really see how that's a spoiler. I actually, just a side note, I do plan on cosplaying this guy at a future convention, and I do actually want to carry both swords. Anyways, yeah, he's the only one in the game who can dual wield. And I kind of saw this coming because I'm like, okay, he's got 1 sword and he doesn't carry a shield. I'm like, or any kind of, defensive anything in the other hand. I'm like, he's got to do something with it because he's carrying it around with 1 hand. And I'm like, I'll bet you anything, he's going to end up dual wielding. And
it comes up because she asks him, like, why did you have, earlier in the show he goes to a weaponsmith who is friends with Azuna and asks her to make him the best one-handed sword she can make. And she makes it. And she asks him, why are you having me make a one-handed sword using your old sword while you carry this one? Which is, in another episode, he then breaks out the dual wielding and then shit goes crazy. So they kind of, they harp on it a little bit at first and you kind of see it coming, but, But, yeah, he 1v1s the boss, almost dies, and then, does Asuna, almost down to declare her love for him. And he goes to, the head of the guild and say, I want Asuna to have a break, she wants her to party with me. He's like, yeah, sure, if you beat me in a duel. And this dude, this is a raw dog motherfucker. He is the top guy in the guild. He's there for a reason. He's the best player, apparently. So he duels him, gets his ass kicked by the main guy. He's like, okay, yeah, now you're in the guild.
That was the
Iron
deal.
Guild.
That was the deal if Kirito lost, is he would have to join the guild and help them clear levels. So he does lose, and he helps him clear levels. They even made him, dress up in their uniform and whatever, which was fine.
And then he goes adventuring with Azuna's former bodyguard, and the bodyguard who Kirito beat him in the duel pretty easily by just breaking his weapon with 1 swipe.
Yeah.
But the bodyguard then turns on him and feeds him a drink that has paralysis in it. And then stabs him with a rending weapon. I don't know. He just had damage over time. And then Asuna kind of gets this, and she hurries and barely saves his life. And then Asuna almost kills the bodyguard dude, but she stops before she does that. And then he tries to kill her, and then Kirito kills the guy.
Yeah. Oh, it was great.
It was a good scene. And then later he's like, I want to stay at your place tonight.
Is there anything else you want to say about it? Because I'm gonna be a critic here.
Well, yeah.
I got a spiel loose here.
Well, yeah, because you said they pulled an Excel World, which was last season.
So, we're gonna go over a few shows that started last season and ended this season. It's not too many. Excel World's one of them, and I have a lot of bad things to say about that show. But Sword Art Online, when I came into it, I heard that it was, I guess, the same writer, probably maybe same universe as Sword Art Online. So I was like, okay, well, crap, I'm gonna watch it. Big hype, everything. But Sword Art Online was really well written. It started, okay, so a little bit of knowledge here. Sword Art Online started as a web novel series, and then got published to regular novel series, like just light novels. And a manga was made after it. And this anime is based off of those light novels that were published. And the volumes go over different things. Like Volume 1 introduced a lot of the characters, and then Volume 2, it's several like side stories and stuff. But in volume 1, you know, like pretty much all the characters. Like they really go into them a lot. And then in volume 2, you start seeing a lot of them die. And, you know, a lot of the storylines that happen. So you're trying to figure out in the anime, why is Kirito all of a sudden level like 70 something? It's only been 2 episodes. They skipped around a lot, but you can't criticize them for that because they have to fit a lot of story into this series. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, all 24 episodes are not just Sword Art Online. They actually decided to make only the first 14 Sword Art Online, which caught me by surprise yesterday that they were going to go through this so quickly. But one thing I like about the show over Excel World is that they set guidelines like by the game that they were in Sword Art Online, and they never really did anything that was a huge suspension of disbelief because it was always within the guidelines of the games, and I really liked that. There was always an order to it. It was well written, and the characters were really lovable. Like Kirito and Asuna, that relationship seemed really real. You know, like I'll get into Excel World later, but like I like the relationship. I like the characters. The whole plot was really gripping because it was intense. They were going to lose their lives over this.
Losing has consequences.
Yeah, and everything that happened fell within guidelines. They kind of shattered that in this last episode 14. The episode started really good. It had a great twist. Like I said, spoilers, but the guild leader is the final boss. He's like, okay, well, you know, we're floor 75. You found out I was the final boss because it was actually really cool. They found out he was
the creator of this whole game that set this up.
Yeah,
this way.
the creator of the game is in the game with them, playing as the guild leader of that strongest guild, the Knights of the Blood Oath.
It was nice how Kirito found this out because he realized something was off during his duel, and it kind of led you on to believe that he knew something was wrong when he lost that duel because he was very confident in himself and his own skills. He knows the game as well as anybody else because he is a hardcore gamer. He knows this stuff. And one thing he realized that he mentions in this episode is what is one of the most boring things to do is to watch somebody else play an RPG. Mm-hmm. So this guy, while this guy had just finished beating the boss, while he's off guard, Kirito goes to stab him with his sword. And then you see the message pop up that says immortal object. Which are usually generally NPCs or things in the game that
or
are
like GMs or something.
Or things in the game that are not meant to be attacked or killed. So then that's when they figure all this out.
Yeah, they figure out he's the final boss, and then he says, okay. So he paralyzes everyone except for Kirito and says, Kirito, duel me. If you duel me, you win. Everyone gets set free. If not, well, you're dead, blah, blah, blah. So he's fighting him, and he's going to lose. The first thing that happens is Asuna breaks paralysis somehow. And I think they want to...
Sure,
I think it's the power of love. The power of love and willpower. The first time really in this show that they've really broken any sort of guideline to do some kind of Deus Ex Machina. Like, she just did it. Well, at least say something like, you know, she could say some one-liner before she dies, like, I happen to have another paralyzing potion left. You know? Like, she used it on herself. Yeah. Like, oh, you didn't think I had one.
The guy was like, I didn't know he could do that.
That would have been clever or something. And then, right after that, another suspension of disbelief is Kirito's like, oh, no, she's dead. Well, you know, everything. He lets himself get stabbed by the boss because he's just in despair. And then, like, he rises up through willpower. After what seems like he is already dead, he kills the boss in one hit. Like, while he's half dead, like, he comes back in a flash of golden light and kills the boss. I'm like, what happened?
That was garbage.
What
that was
happened?
Like,
I'm like, come on. It's been so well written up to this point. So... I don't know.
I wonder if they just went, you know what, fuck it, let's end it right here.
Well, they have another game
to go
let's
through. End this game right here.
They have another game to go through.
I don't even know if it's going to be the same characters or if it's whole new characters.
No, it's the same.
Is it?
I already know.
Hope it's not like gotcha syndrome.
Because the thing is, like, I kind of had the same problem. I was like, okay, so I've already seen his HP gauge hit nothing, and somehow he's like kind of back, almost like as an unethereal being. And he just, but I mean, you look at the guy's health after they were battling it out, and it was below half.
Yeah.
And he did disable the immortal, like, whatever on himself. So it is possible, but the problem with it is, though, is that, yeah, the problem was that how did he come back and kill the guy after his HP had already hit 0? like that just
It's garbage.
that's
garbage.
that's just odd.
That's just
So
bad
anyways,
writing.
but you know what? It's one thing, and I still love this show.
Yeah, show's so great.
It's
Still my top show of the season.
I would recommend it to anybody. Definitely watch it. It's great. We have to move on though.
Yeah, we have 13 more shows to talk about.
Yep. All right.
So,
Well, we're gonna breeze through Kyokai Senjo no Horizon, or
Okay.
Horizon in the Middle of Nowhere, which that must have been where the writer must have been, because this show is so fucking terrible.
okay, so
This is the second one, by the way. This is a sequel.
I watched a bit of season 1 and thought that show was utter trash. I went into season 2, I just kind of turned my brain off and watched episode 1, and I kind of enjoyed it. The problem is, I didn't watch any more of it, so I really can't say.
Show's dumb.
My feelings on the show has not really changed that much, except.
And it's so disappointing because it's Sunrise, and that's one of my favorite studios. So to see them,
weird. It's a weird show.
Yeah, I watched like the first 4 episodes of the first season, and I said, no, this show is stupid.
It's like the women in this show are either G cups or A cups. There's no middle between. There's no anything.
Yeah,
There's like 45 characters. There's one guy who's just potentially just high on LSD all the time.
Yeah, it's really
It's just garbage.
yeah. And the thing is I mean, it is based off of light novels that are apparently bigger than the Harry Potter books. So I'm sure that if you've read them and you enjoyed the light novels, you might actually enjoy watching the show. I'm sure that there is some fan base behind it, but if you haven't read the light novels, please skip the show.
The show's bad. It's a bad show.
Really stupid.
It's not good.
And why there's so much hype for it when it first came out, I will never understand. But then again, there is a big portion of the otaku community that reads light novels, and I do not. So just strictly as an anime, knowing nothing about the light novel, the show's dumb.
Let's move on.
Only my time to shine.
All right.
All
have
right,
fun.
dog days.
So I am the only one in the world who watched and enjoyed Dog Days. Now, Dog Days is a show about. It's kind of about a boy in high school who is kind of training for what I believe to be like Ninja Warrior. He is very athletic, very talented, and he's training to be in like a Ninja Warrior competition that he lost to a friend of his. And the first season, he is kind of teleported to this other world which has kind of like dog and cat people. In regards that like they're regular people, but they have like ears and tails.
So is the sequel going to be Cat Knights?
I hope. No. The sequel is Dog Days apostrophe.
Oh, that is the sequel.
So it is about it is about these two republics called Biscotti and Gillette. That's called Gillette, whatever.
Gillette.
The best American
Making
guy.
shavers.
Yeah. Biscotti is a kingdom of dog people run by this princess. And Gillette is a kingdom of cat people run by this female warrior. But the thing is that these two kingdoms are just totally cool with each other. Like, the princesses hang out every weekend, do whatever. They're totally cool. And they have war games where every now and then they transport a hero from another world to be their hero for that time, for like a few months. And the cat and the dog kingdom happen to bring this guy whose name is Sink. Or Sinku, if you want to be totally, weeaboo about it. But, and he comes to be the hero of this kingdom. And they have war games. And the thing about the war games is that it's kind of like, there are, regular foot soldiers and there are commanders, lieutenants, and stuff like that. And when you get hit really, really hard, you turn to like a puffball version of yourself. So like, so like a cat, you turn into a puffball version of a cat, and it's like, it is moe as all hell. And it's like, it has really great characters, like really just endearing moe characters if you're into that. And season 2 is this. Like, in season 1, Sing fell in love with the princess. She fell in love with him. And the thing supposed to be is that when the hero leaves the kingdom, he loses all memory of what happened.
That's unfortunate.
But the princess gave him a memento that after he came back, he forgot for like a few weeks, and he remembered eventually what happened. And he set something up with the kingdom to have his two friends come with him. his childhood friend, and the girl who beat him in Ninja Warrior competition. And they come back and they're transported. They spend their summer there. It's transported back to the kingdom, and you find out there's a third kingdom, which is squirrel people.
Oh God!
And the squirrels is held by like this little princess, and they focus on aerial combat. You see, flying squirrels and everything. So Cinco is back with the cat, no, the dog kingdom. His friend, I think Nanami, is with the cat kingdom, and her other friend, who is so remember her so well, I forgot her name. Oh no, Rebecca. Rebecca. He calls her Becky.
That's Japanese.
He calls her Becky. Rebecca is with the squirrel kingdom, and they all become heroes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what the show's about, is them being back in this world, and they're getting the war games. And eventually, like, there's kind of like a love triangle between a childhood friend and the princess and Sink. But the thing is, like, the princess and childhood friend are totally cool with each other. So it's not really much a love, like, not really a one full of animosity, and one more full of friendship. A friendly love triangle. Yeah, that's basically it. I like that show a lot. Your mileage may vary. I was totally down with the cat people war game stuff.
Well, I have to give it one thing. It's got quite the cast. I mean, Horie Yui, you got, who was it, Koshi Mizumi there, Yuki Aoi, Mizuki Nana's in it. Like, I would never expect her to do this kind of show, and Asumi Kana. It's all-star cast for a show about a bunch of animal people, but whatever.
Yeah, like if you like, good-natured war games, great characters, and not scared of furries, then this is a really good show to watch.
All right. Well, we're gonna move on to Ebi 10.
Ebi 10. I watched exactly one episode of Ebi 10 and thought it was shit.
You see, the plot made me think it was shit, but it had the character designs of Seitaka and Ichizone.
Don't be lied to. Don't fall for that.
I want to watch it, but I was like, no, I heard it was shit from 3 different sources, so didn't watch it.
Matt, did you watch it?
Nope.
Oh, moving on then. Okay.
Right.
So next is
oh my God, I've been
Ruben's
waiting.
top show.
Okay,
of
this
the
is
season.
my favorite show of the season. Jinryu wa Suitai Shimashita. Translates to humanity is declined.
So I'm gonna let you talk. I'm gonna look at my phone while you talk. Okay?
All right. Well, I'm not gonna spend that much time because I really want to get through the rest of this stuff. But what I need to say about the show is, for the most part, when you watch an anime, you think, I could have written that. For a lot of animes, you think, I could have written that. He could have written that. You know, if you think hard enough, it wasn't that deep of a story. Like, whatever. Like, you could write an adventure anime. Like, any one of us could write Sword Art Online. It's really cool. It's really fun. But if any of us put our minds to it, we could write a story just like it.
This show's fucked up in the best possible way.
Jinrui was such an imaginative, like, creative, intelligent, like, show. Well, I don't know if I say intelligent, but
it's clever.
It was very clever, and it had so many subtle references and undertones beyond the already creative, like, the surface of the show. But it is about a post, I don't want to say apocalyptic world, but basically humanity has declined, which is the point of the show. And what they call these new humans are the fairies that have taken over a lot of aspects of life. And
Talk about that opening. That opening song. Number one is one of my more favorite bands in Nana Right,
it's
which
not
you
even a
guys
band,
hate.
it's some chick with a nasal congestion.
Which I love. And just like the dance throughout the entire show.
It's a very catchy opening.
Infectious. It is infectious. I
The,
love
the,
opening.
the opening's fun to watch because of the animation, and the ending I actually just like to listen to. But this show has a very unique art style. You have to, like, just deal with it. Like, episode 1, just get around it. If you can't, then, well...
That show's not for you.
But it's very funny, and it's like a social satire of how different, like... how do I say, like, through... Like, for instance, they go through, like, a manga renaissance. They go through, like, how companies are ran by headless chickens. Like, that's saying. They go through... I mean, and there's a lot of references to classic stuff. Like, they freaking blow, like, Ave Maria in our face, like, twice. And it's just so clever. It goes through all this. There's one arc where there's
Didn't they make like a boys' love magazine at one point?
Yeah, that was the manga renaissance. It's all about yaoi. It was really hilarious. And then they have like AIs turning sentient. They actually build an entire civilization in one episode of an island. It was very good. But I would highly recommend this to anybody who likes to watch kind of like more of those out there shows that isn't really like anything else. You can't. Like, you'll feel like a hipster liking this show, but I don't care. You be all hipster you can be.
Well, I watched more than half of this show, and I will give it points for its creativeness. I actually did kind of enjoy that it wasn't like, typically what you see in most animes. The reason why I had to stop watching it was because it wasn't one of those shows that had a gripping cliffhanger at the end of every episode that made me want to like wait until like the next week to see the next episode. Yeah. Like, that was the only issue I had with it. And at the time that I did drop this show, as well as a lot of other ones, is mainly because, like, for the same reason that I dropped, Hagure Yusha no Aesthetica. Not only was that show dumb, but it's just around the time that I started dropping shows, I had actually seen the announcement for the current season, fall 2012, and because there were a lot of shows that were really hype for me, after seeing the PVs, reading about the directors and the animation studios, I just could not care about a lot of these shows because of that. I just had to anxiously wait.
It's like you wanted the new shit.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's not that I'm saying they're bad. It's not that I'm saying they're bad. It's
no,
like for what I saw of Jinrui, I did enjoy it.
I think the last show season I loved.
And if I come across a time where I have a lot of time on my hands, I did save it all, so I will probably go back and watch it. It's just this next season is really, really heavy, and
it's gonna suck when it turns out to be crap. Probably.
We'll go into the next season when that concludes, and you'll see why.
But yeah, anyways, Humanity's Decline, highly recommend it. Very funny. The main character is probably one of the more likable characters I've ever seen. Like, she's very sassy and really, really smart. Like, she doesn't take crap. It's really it's fresh.
She's a strong black woman.
She's a strong black woman.
She don't need no man.
But another interesting thing about the show is, like, they don't really give anyone a solid name. Everyone, like, the main character, her name, she's just a sweets girl. Her assistant, they call Assistant Kun. But very good. And the music's done by the guy who did the music for Gunslinger Girls. So if you like that soundtrack. All right.
What's next? Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to say one thing about this show.
Oh, boy. Okay. Our next show is La Storia della Arcana Familia.
Deia.
It's Italian, and this show.
Bambina.
Yeah, this show was it's based off a game, and again, we don't really play these games.
Well,
we don't play games.
It's a game for girls.
Anime is serious.
And the first episode of this series was really good.
Strong first episode.
Now, other than that, the rest of this time I was wondering, okay, when are they going to get to it? When are they going to get to it?
Well, being they were going to do this huge duel between all the characters.
A tournament, pretty much.
A big tournament. That's the
draw. A world fighting tournament.
Exactly.
Maybe martial arts.
I'm not sure. Iron Fist tournament.
You get to fight Jackie Chun there.
But, yeah.
But they never get to it.
Until the last episode, and they conclude it in about 10 minutes.
It's like the head of the family, whose name I forget.
La Mundo.
Who says, guys, I'm fucking tired of being the head of this family, okay? I'm getting old. We're going to have a tournament, and whoever wins becomes a new head of the family, also gets my daughter's hand in marriage. And the daughter's like, fuck that. He's like, well, fight me then. He's like, no, well, win tournament, and then you can decide what you want. So they hype this up in the first episode, like, yeah, this is going to be cool. We're going to get their skills up, we're going to fight, and they're going to find out who's top dog. No. It just turns into just kind of a slice of life.
It's literally 10 episodes of pointlessness and really crappy character.
You must control your power of the... So, okay. For people who, played Persona, you're familiar with the Arcana system.
Dude, reach out for the truth, man.
And this show is all about Arcana. Like, the main chick, whose name I forget. Is it
Bambina.
Bambina.
Well,
Her main
It doesn't matter what her name is. It's
her main
Bambina.
arcana is the Lover's Arcana.
and Wheel of Fortune.
La Fortuna, whatever else
Shut
that
the
was
hell.
called.
Just shut
Just
up.
shut up. But the whole point is that she's trying to hone her abilities because her and these two other fools are
Childhood friends.
they're all the youngest in this group, but they can't fully control their powers, and so it's 10 episodes of them doing these really like
Menial tasks.
mundane things to just try and
Let's follow this cat to this place.
and they don't even. There's seriously episodes where they don't do anything about
Except
their,
follow a cat.
about their abilities.
Or like they go in the forest and they take pictures.
Look, we're just gonna make this short, okay? Big tournament announced, first episode, big hype. Don't see it till last episode. Wrapped up in 10 minutes. She
Okay.
wins.
Okay,
She
okay.
says, "Hey, you know what? I want you to stay as the boss, and you will literally realize that you've wasted 13 episodes of your life."
So
This show got literally nowhere.
I watched up to episode like 11, and then I saw so much bad things coming from episode 12. I did not watch it out of defiance.
It was a waste of time. It was seriously a waste of time. Oh god, just like this one.
Okay,
All right, we're gonna move
speaking
on.
of waste of time, Dakara Boku wa Haga Daki Nai.
Deki Nai.
I watched episode 1 of this, and I'm like, yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah, no, yeah.
If anyone's watched High School DxD, I absolutely love that show.
Watch that instead of
and
this.
I thought that this would be like a spiritual successor. It was a spiritual letdown, like terrible. Do you have anything to say about this, Matt?
It
Because I
was-
could go on for a little bit.
It was a High School DxD wannabe, because like at least the characters in High School DxD were strong, and they were likable and they were funny. In this show, it's not so much. Like this main guy, the whole thing that his whole gig is that he's horny, and
He is your typical high school male.
and this
Who, you know,
this,
But he's not afraid to say it.
and this
Yeah.
chick basically like she feeds like her energy like off of his like horniness, and he's completely
Which sounds like a really funny premise, which could work in the right hands.
and he's fine.
Yeah,
with
but
it.
none of the characters were likable. She was this generic tsundere girl. He was so annoying actually to a point with his horniness. And the other girls are just these like beanbos
just
and
like, want to get
harem.
just shut the fuck down somewhere, okay? Just
Like,
fucking
oh,
chill out.
And the story was so, oh my god.
The story was really dumb. Like seriously, like if you haven't seen the show and if you haven't seen High School DxD, go and watch High School.
It's like if you want to get in your fan service quota, and you don't really care for quality, and you hate yourself, then this is a good show to watch. I
yeah,
think.
but honestly, like I mean, you go watch High School DxD, and
It is
if
a
you
much
really,
better harem.
if you really want to
Ecchi
know, if you really want to know why like we're ripping on this show, just watch a little bit of it after watching High School DxD, and you will understand.
Not only that, the animation quality was god horrendous.
Yeah, it was pretty bad considering what we have today. So honestly, I'm not going to recommend this to anybody.
No,
this show is
don't,
really dumb.
Don't watch that show. All right,
Let's
next
go on.
we have Joshiraku,
This is another
which
one.
I enjoyed that show a bit, but I enjoyed the ending theme more than the show itself.
I've had that before. I felt that way before.
Yeah. Other than that, this show is actually this show
It's
to
not
me.
a bad show.
To me, I thought this show was a waste of time because I guess maybe it's just because I am not a fan of. I don't like animes that take place in one place. Like, I mean, not just anime either. I'm like movies, TV shows, whatever. You know, kind of like U571. The majority of that show took place on a fucking submarine. Okay, I find that to be kind of stupid because I need a change of pace and I need a change of scenery. This show did not do that, and I knew that going in. But I was hoping that at least the comedy would make up for that. But all it was a lot of breaking the fourth wall, a lot of references to like the characters talking to the viewers, and I thought that was
Some
really
was
dumb.
kind of funny.
I mean,
Like when she added like a really like intricate animation of her not really doing much.
or there was one part that got me to chuckle a little bit, and that was when in the first episode they said like oh, you can't do that, like what, like we have to do something or another for the viewers, and then this other girl just says, even though most of them will watch this for free, ha. Like I mean, okay, that was
Do not promote pirating.
that was a clever little comment, but overall though the show was really dumb. I couldn't stand it. So
The thing is that seeing the plot for this, like I thought it was gonna be a show where nothing happened, and after watching Kill Me Baby, I didn't want to watch another show where nothing happened. But if I had known Arcana Familia was gonna be literally a waste of time, I would have watched Yoshiraku instead.
It's
and like any day of the week, yeah. But I think for people who like moe, cute girls doing slice of life shit, like
talking
Lucky Star, K-On! Crap, it's a good show.
It is serviceable.
Yeah, I mean JC Staff, they're one of my favorite studios.
A little inconsistent at times, but
yeah. Anyways,
but also they brought us Kacho Maid-sama, so good for them.
It is actually.
All right, next is Oda Nobuna no Yabo, which I watched exactly one episode of and forgot what happened.
Basically, and this is gonna be
also I hate alternate history Japanese shows.
Well, there's so many of them. They came out with so many Sengoku period shows. Like, it's a plague. And after freaking Sengoku Collection last season, I'm done. I don't want to see girls be the stupid Sengoku generals.
Like, there is arguably only one period anime I like, and that's Kids on the Slope. And that's being best period in gigantic quotes.
That's not even Sengoku though.
It's period.
That was the 1960s.
I love Sengoku Basara. Like that was such a great show. Like it was hype and exciting.
In a sense.
But this year, this year though, there's just been so many. There's Sengoku Collection, Brave 10.
Brave 10 could have been cool.
Then there's this one, and this one isn't even meant to be taken all that seriously. Like these generals in actual Japanese history, like Toyotomi Hideyoshi, they are all represented by really busty girls, and
they've been doing that.
Busty.
Even in Samurai Girls, that was the same thing.
Samurai Girls,
and I like that show because of the art. Like that art carried that show.
The art and the most tasteful fan service in anime history.
See, this show didn't do that, and the fact of the matter is they had. That everything was consistent except for the fact that the guy character in the middle of all this is from modern day.
Fuck that guy.
Modern day high school. And so I'm just like so the Japanese the guy who wrote this must have he must have watched I don't know, Japanese subtitled A Kid in King Arthur's Court and decided to take that idea and instead of Western culture, well, let's do that with Eastern culture and see what happens. So I don't know. I watched 2 episodes and I thought it was really dumb.
If you're a fan of Sengoku period, you just love it to death, then go for it. If you like Sengoku Collection, go for it. But this show is certainly
not for me.
But it's silly.
Okay.
It's silly.
Anyone else watch this next show? Because I didn't watch this next show.
No, it's actually I think it was a sequel.
This was a sequel.
It's a sequel.
It's called Hakuoki Reimeroku. And so this one actually no, it's a prequel of Hakuoki. I actually don't know anything about it.
It's based off an Oto game, Arcana Familia, game meant for girls, and I've actually heard that for girls who liked the game, it's popular. I think it's one of those things that's more popular in Japan than it ever will be in America. We'll never see this in America, but it actually has a small following in Japan.
Yeah, but I didn't know anything about the previous one either, rendition of it, so I didn't really care. Also because it's done by a studio that doesn't exactly have the greatest track record with me. Studio Dean. Yeah, I'm sorry. Studio Dean is just.
But yeah, Shinsengumi, all that fun stuff. Go for it. Can't give a good word about it here though.
Speaking of studios,
oh yeah.
Now we have Tari by legendary PA Works. Makers of such shows as Angel Beats and Another.
They did make Another.
They did, yes.
Another was a good show.
We can talk about other good shows they've done, like True Tears.
That was a good show.
Air.
No,
they didn't do it.
It was Kyoto.
Okay, well.
But PA Works, okay. So point being, PA Works is good, and this was an original animation.
Hatsuki Roha, one of the top shows last year. So Tari is basically like Japanese Glee.
Okay, if you like Glee,
and I fucking hate Glee.
You see, I like Glee, and I thought, it's a show about a bunch of people trying to join a choir because they want to start their own choir club because the choir club at the school won't let her sing.
Also, it's not fun.
They won't sing and won't let her sing. She's like, I'm going to start my own. So she gets up with her friends together and starts pretty much a Glee club.
Yeah.
So they're like, this show's going to be great. I mean, it's PA Works. They have a lot of quality. Yeah. They're probably going to make enough music.
Of course, the art is great.
Yeah, but I thought they chose this because we're going to put music in every episode. It's gonna be great. We're gonna have all this new music every episode.
No,
but
that's a life.
There was some music.
There was some.
There was
like
the first episode. Yeah. There was when they were doing the superhero costumes and they were chasing. They sang that song and I love that.
That was pretty great.
There was another episode where I think they sang something. It was
last episode.
Earlier, and I think there was I can't remember, but we got to hear little bits of like Wakana's like dead mom,
Yeah.
dead mom.
Yeah.
Like her legacy, what she left behind. It's a very I like the show. I like the show.
I hate Glee, but I like this show a lot.
But it's because this show's nothing like Glee. Like
But
I thought it was, but it's
so
nothing
good.
like Glee.
I'm glad that didn't happen. But it has really good characters, really great art. PA Works is a fantastic studio that has great visuals all the time.
Yeah.
Very strong, very likable characters, good writing overall.
And what I like about this show, the problem I had with Koi Senkyo Chocolate that this show did better was they spent a good amount of time on every character.
Yeah.
They didn't just like outshine one person above the rest.
Well, they had fewer characters to deal with.
Yeah, but they still could have done it in Chocolate if they had managed their time better. But the characters are likable. I mean, 3 girls, 2 guys. It's a good mix because one of the girls is gonna be left behind.
Yeah.
One of them is undesirable. Which one? But I mean, it's all about music. It's all about music. If you like music
And strong characters.
and good characters, you'll like the show. I can definitely recommend
The final
it.
scene with like that performance over in the school.
Yeah.
It was great.
It was really
It
good.
was great. But yeah. Next show. The show that I'm surprised you guys don't like as much as I do.
Okay, this is Binbogami ga, or Misfortune Goddess. It's so this girl she's a 16-year-old girl who's basically she's had her life's been easy street. She's had the immense amounts of fortune and luck, and basically it's so much to the point where this goddess of misfortune has to come and rebalance everything, and she doesn't want to give that up. And it's basically a lot of running around slapstick humor of these two going at it. I watched 2 episodes of this show, and they make a lot of neat references to other things, but the kind of humor that it is not for me, and that's just something I've discovered with comedy genre in general when it comes to anime, is that it is the most subjective genre that there is in the anime industry.
It's
so
like, I personally think this show is the freshest comedy I've seen since Baka Test. And
I can't see that because
Yeah.
I like Baka Test. I thought a lot of the comedy was actually really clever, but this show, like Matt said, it was very slapstick. It was a reference and satirical, and you really had to it was carried by the references more or less. It broke the fourth wall all the time. It was slapstick.
Yeah,
you silly.
But I love first of all, Sakura, the main girl, is really strong.
I like her. That's the
She's a
problem.
great
I like
character.
that character a lot.
Also,
I just can't
also
take
think
the show.
Binbogami is also a good character too.
Oh.
Got it on this misfortune.
yeah, but I found out too recently that Funimation actually licensed this show.
Good.
So it is coming to
As it
America.
It'll make this. This is the kind of stuff that sells in America.
Yeah, it'll be
Because,
awesome.
A lot of America is just like this, awesome, silly, high energy
because
stuff.
because the thing is that there's always stuff happening. There's never really a dull moment going on in this series, and that's
Really strong, clever writing.
And I mean, I really don't mean to rip on people. It's just the way that America is that we fast paced, not a dull moment. Everything's always moving, and there's always something going on, and I'm never not laughing.
The pacing is swift.
Regardless of how stupid it may be. It's just there are a lot of audiences in America they don't want, when they come to sit down to watch a show, they want to be entertained. They don't want to have to after working a 10-hour day, you come home, you don't want to have to use your brain. You don't want to have to think about anything. And in this show, you don't have to. That's kind of this big selling point with it. It's just this comedy isn't for me. I just don't like it. I prefer comedy that's more that's clever and witty, that isn't stupid. Kind of like Bakemonogatari.
It's very sharp.
I like humor like that, but slapstick just isn't for me.
I mean, this show has sharp comedy too, but it's not afraid to just let loose and just go slapstick crazy. And also, one thing is that Sakura has a really great character arc throughout this entire show, where she starts off as being just kind of stuck up and not really being able to interact with people, understanding people's insecurities and needs and desires and what being a good person is. At the end of the show, meeting all these people, going through all this stuff, she really makes friends for the first time. She's not a stuck-up bitch anymore. She really learns how people are and how money and wealth is in everything, and how relationships are very important too.
Yeah. If you like Excel Saga and Muteki Kanban Musume or Invincible Poster Girl, you'll like this show. It's right up that alley.
Very disappointing because it's Sunrise again.
But I love Sunrise. They made Tiger and Bunny.
They also make Gundam, and I
They also make Code Geass.
yeah, they did.
All right, let's go on. We're running out of time here.
Kokoro Connect.
I love this.
I have a love-hate relationship with Kokoro Connect.
I mostly love
There's
it.
parts I love about it and parts I hate about it. When I first watched episode 1, so it is a show about these people in a club. And all of a sudden, they experience a phenomenon where they're switching bodies, pretty much. Where it's random like that, they switch body of the person. And I thought, it worked well enough, but I thought it was either going to be either really good or really bad. And I'm glad, and it only lasted about like 2-3 episodes. I'm glad they didn't take too much
The
time
body
on
switching?
It. Yes.
No, it was 5.
It was 5?
It was 5 for body switching, 5
was like-
for...
I was
It
like
was 5
3.
for body switching, 5 for Unleash Desires, and they did the last 4 on regressing.
Okay, the body switching I didn't really care for, but the characters were so strong and well realized, I got through that. Unleashing Desires, I thought, was probably one of the best arcs of any show this season.
It was really good.
It was just really, really great. It has the best characters of any show this season. That's easily could go with the most real characters anyway.
Well, here's the thing. The plot itself makes character development happen because unlike a lot of animes where people hide things from each other, like miscommunication is a driving plot for a lot of animes. Like, oh, we had miscommunication, so this problem occurred, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
In this show, because of because of what's happening, they have to communicate properly.
They
And
can't
things are brought out and things are dealt with.
Yeah.
And like all the characters have really strong backstories.
You know,
And
I'd go on a limb and say that Heartseed is probably one of the best villains in anime in recent memory.
yeah,
Villains?
Because he basically is in like omnipotent formless being that can inhabit anyone's body and talk to these people, and he basically controls them at will. They basically literally have absolutely zero defense against this. They can't stop him. They're at his mercy.
right.
That is incredibly that's evil. That is definitely evil. And to be in that position is both frustrating, you're angry, you feel vulnerable. That is really actually incredible character development. Maybe one of the best characters of the year, in my opinion.
It's good. He is really good. I like every character in that show. Like, a lot of people lumped up like Koi Chako, Kononaka no Hitori, Taritari, Kokoro Connect as like the 4 slice life girl guy kind of like thing. And I really like the characters of Kokoro Connect the most out of any of those. I think I like that show the most out of those 4. But there's 2 things I want to say. Two negatives, because with positives there's always most of the time negatives. The first thing that I had to get past with the show.
Madoka's perfect. So
I could talk an hour about Madoka, but anyways.
That's another podcast another time.
So one thing you have to get past is you'll soon realize, and it's not going to take long, you realize this whole show is driven by the fact that Heartseed's just bored.
Heartseed is a fucking
The villain he's bored. He's just doing this.
Evil motherfucker.
He's just doing this.
That's the worst part. It's not like to teach them some kind of lesson that they don't know. He was just fucking bored. He's like, well, let's fuck with the people.
You know what? I want to fuck with you guys, and you'll entertain me.
That is literal. Pure.
Like
that is pure.
He literally tells them at several points, I'm going to do this
or I'll make this worse
until something interesting happens.
Yeah.
And like if you sit in your rooms all day and
I'll make it worse. Yeah.
He's like, I'll mess with you. That was the first thing. It was like that kind of was like, I'll get past it, but whatever. Like it's kind of fact. Like he's just bored, and that's why he's doing it. The second thing is the last episode that came out. There's actually 4 more left to come out, but they're gonna come out as OVAs on like Blu-rays. But the last episode to be aired on TV, it had to do with pretty much Iori Nagase. She's one of the characters solving her problems with her mother and family.
Which is really
but they really, really rush through it.
Yeah.
She's like the whole time she's like being really vague, like, oh, I wish I could have done these things different. I really wish I only did it because it would make my mom happy. And oh my God, we have all these problems. Like I literally thought at one point that she was being sexually harassed by her mom's like husband or whatever, like her boyfriend or whatever. I was like, this is really dark, but I wish you would tell us what the hell happened. At the end of it, I still don't know what happened, but something got resolved. Like she's like, Mom, I was just doing this to be happy, and her mom's like, oh, well, I just wanted you to be happy. Well, I just wanted you to be happy. Yay! And they're like, oh, okay, well, let's kick the guy out. I'm like, that's great. That's great. That's like fine resolution.
You've seen the what were you doing there?
Yeah. What were you doing that was so depressing?
Yeah.
Anyways,
okay, I'll say this. So, with the first arc, the body switching arc, I'm like, I don't really like this, but I'll go along with it. The next arc of releasing their deep desires, I thought was excellent. Mm-hmm. That is really good. Now, with the most recent final arc with them regressing into children, not just mentally but physically as well, that is when I stopped buying their like supernatural bullshit.
It's just as supernatural as the other stuff.
Yeah, but I don't know why, but I just couldn't get down with, okay, now I'm a kid now, now I'm a child. Now I just can't get down with like shrinking and becoming younger, and then as some kind of weird thing.
Well, you can be down with people switching bodies. You can be down.
No, I can't. But I can be down more with that than people becoming
whatever.
babies.
That's a personal problem.
That is exactly a personal problem.
Overall, I think that it was really good though.
Oh, like I recommend the show. It's a great show.
I honestly really enjoyed this one a lot. This one actually was one of those that made me go, okay. At the end of this episode, wow, I really cannot wait till next week for the next episode. Yeah. So this one kept me anxious, and I did like this one. This one got an 8 out of 10 for me.
Now, this next show I did not watch because of the...
Wait, I'm not done with that.
Okay.
Yeah. I just want to say two more things. First of all, Coco Connect, each arc had an ending, a different ending, and a different ending thing.
The first
and what they would do is they would play the instrumental opening to that theme during the preview, and then it would drip right into the credits with like the breakdown of the song.
That's really good.
If you watch this, just remember that first opening
really
ending because it was so beautiful, so
great.
Perfect. It fit the mood perfectly. And the next one you got that like dun 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 dun.
It's like too upbeat for this. It's like this chick just poured her heart out, and this is dramatic.
You're talking about the one with the Ferris wheel, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
but now we're all happy at the fair. Let's go.
The director of this show did F A Tale of Memories and Melodies. He did Bakuto Testo Shokanju, very good show as well.
Yeah.
And is doing this show, so he's got a great track record. He's probably my favorite director. So definitely give this show a shot.
Okay. This next show I did not watch because the description is garbage. Let me read it to you. The story follows an elementary school girl named Chitose who wildly pursues the love of Hiroshi, an older young man who works at the town hall next to her school.
This was like a 4 shorts. I don't even think they were full episodes.
No, they weren't.
I'm pretty sure that girl's not 13.
I don't know. I think it's a show made for children. It's a children's show, right?
Yeah, it is. It is meant to be. Chitose Get You. Yeah, it was. Well, the manga. It's like even reading it, they were short. They're not like actual manga chapters. So, just reading that synopsis, I was like, no.
Okay. On to our
kid like show for kids. If you like kids shows, check it out. No.
On to our final show, which I actually feel bad about, is Yuri Yuri, which I watched all the first season of Yuri Yuri, and I love that show so much.
I love that show too.
And for some reason, I watched about 5 episodes season 2 and stopped watching.
Toshino Kyoko.
I love the characters in the show so much. The comedy is pretty sharp. It's about slapstick stuff here and there, but I like it overall.
It's not slapstick, but it's not sharp.
Yeah,
I actually can't agree with any of those. I think
it's sharp on occasion.
It's really mellow. It's like Lucky Star comedy.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, silly you.
The show is pretty fucking lesbian. I mean, Yuri in the title.
Yeah, it's lesbian as all hell. It's true. Characters are likable. Their interactions are likable. And it's just hijinks and soup. That's the best way to describe it. It's a bunch of lesbian girls make a friggin' club room for a club just to hang out, and hijinks ensue.
I've never seen the guy in that show. Wait, no, never seen the guy in that show.
There's no guys in the show.
Oh shit! Okay.
Literally not a single guy in that show.
I think it's good comedy.
If you like Yuri comedies, it's
like Yuri comedy.
great. I'd recommend it.
Now, All right, but now thoughts going into next season.
Well, I'm gonna say actually I want to go over
Some shows.
3 shows.
Yeah,
I want to go
I
over
agree.
3 shows that ended this last season that carried from the previous season.
Okay.
Kuroko no Basketball,
Yeah.
Hyoka,
Mm-hmm.
and Excel World.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's cover Cell World first.
Let's
So,
start with yeah. Now
I stopped around episode 14, so
okay,
that's
I finished the show. My impressions of that show, I liked it at first. And keep in mind, I didn't read the manga, but I was impressed actually with the first couple episodes of Excel World. I thought it was well done. It was executed decently, and I liked the. And I mean, okay, the character design for the main character, I didn't really like it that much at first, and then it grew on me. It's kind of like the short fat kid that gets bullied, in middle school, and a lot of people can relate to that. So I guess that was one of the big struggles with
But
it.
he looks so punchable.
He
I
does.
just want to punch him.
He does, yeah.
Like, I'm not even a bad person, I don't think, but I just want to punch him.
But Excel World, it's set in the future where they have these neural linkers and they can connect to like the school's network. It's very futuristic with all this high tech gear. They have like vision correction. You can it's like your phone too. Like someone can receive a call. You'll see people like waving their hands like in front of them because they're using their interface. And I thought this was a really cool concept. I like technology and I like virtual reality. So one day he basically gets he encounters this girl who introduces him to a game called Brain Burst, and what it does is you accelerate, which is like a manipulation of time.
By saying what?
Burst link.
Burst link.
Burst a link.
Burst a link.
So he uses this as he's about to be punched in the face.
Unlimited burst.
And he still gets hit, but it's the fact that when you activate this, everything freezes and you become your avatar in this game.
His is a pig.
And his is a pig, yes.
We have a casual avatar and a combat avatar. That's his casual avatar.
Yeah, his combat avatar is actually pretty cool looking. Yeah. But basically, Brain Burst is every time you activate it, it uses points, and you have so many points that you can use. And when you hit 0, the game automatically uninstalls itself. You can never get it again, and
you die.
And you don't die. You lose all memory of everything that happened while you had it. And this, I thought, okay, you know what? They're telling me this up front so that I know I'm not surprised later. But I felt that it was a way to just kind of cover up for any bullshit they do later. And I'm just like, they're just like, okay, there's gonna be some bullshit later, but we're just gonna tell you this up front right now, just so you know, so that you don't question anything.
Just roll with it. Don't make it weird.
And okay, so he, you battle, you get more points, you level up. And basically, people use this as a means as kind of like an online duel. But the way that they treat this show, it's almost like they treat it, like Sword Art Online, where they treat it like life or death, and it's not. Like, you mean to tell me, okay, so let me get this straight. You beat me, and I lose all my points. So then all that happens is I can just never play this game again. Mm-hmm. Oh no. Life will continue, yeah. So, but it's just the way the characters interact with this whole thing. They make it seem like this big deal, like if you die in the game, you die for real. But that's not the case, and that was one of the issues that I had with it as it progressed.
The ladies in the show really love them some short, fat guys with confidence issues.
I know, right?
He has anime protagonist syndrome. No matter what stupid shit he does, girls still want him for some reason. Because he rises to the occasion maybe once or twice.
Oh, it's shonen is all hell,
but, okay,
it's shonen as well.
I want to make a comparison to this show with Sword Art Online, because this show, it gives you a premise, and first of all, it's hard to feel gripping intense for the characters when they're in the battles, because okay, well, it's just going to install if they lose, okay. So it's really hard to feel like the plot's as intense as it could be.
Also,
but beyond
since
that,
their main characters in a shonen, they're not going to lose.
The main character is a little short fat boy, and I think that was really just to
Make him the everyman.
to aid to being a likable character. I think they did it because they want us to like him because he's getting bullied and everything.
They did the opposite for me.
Yeah, like he's getting bullied and like he's trying to rise up and gain enough strength and confidence and power to overcome the issues, but for the first 7 episodes, this was actually really well written. I was surprised, and then it became Deus Ex Machina world, like left and right.
Just talking about
what?
wings.
Like wings, he just got wings like no reason. Like in the middle of battle, right when he needed them.
He's the only one in the world with the wings.
The whole Imagine Breaker system, like for that to show up later in the series, like all out of nowhere after like they've been through all these ordeals. Like the Red King knew about it, and it's like
what's Imagine Breaker? I saw it way before that.
The incarnate system.
Incarnate system. It's basically like your willpower can create a weapon or any power.
Fuck you know.
Like so, what he does is like
no.
he just like imagines a blade and like he gets this like proton blade and he can like cut through a mountain.
I imagine a nuke. Game over.
I know.
I win.
But I was just like, there are so many events that happen through this episode. They're just so Deus Ex Machina. Like you have to really love shonen shows. Like you have to love the kind of shows like Tengen Toppa Lagan are. Like those kinds of shows are just bullshit. Just Deus Ex Machina bullshit left and right.
Like
if you like that,
like Guilty Crown.
like yes, like Guilty Crown. Like it's just one of those kind of shows. You just have to deal with it. Just let it be, or else you're not gonna enjoy it. Like I didn't. I just got so
I stopped.
I got so fed up with it. Like I finished it, and the other problem with the show is that like Kirito and Asuna and Sword Art Online had a very likable relationship.
Can you use willpower to imagine the guy you're fighting just being dead?
I know, no,
Imagine
I don't know.
him to death.
Maybe that's in the next season, but like the other problem with the show is that Haruyuki, the little short fat boy, and Kuriyuki Himasama, which is the black-haired chick that recruited him.
Ever find out her name?
They're Kuriyuki.
Good, right, great.
But
good to see you make progress.
like their relationship feels so fake. It's like, who does that? What girl like her would do that? Like
one with issues.
And then at the end of this series, they've been through all this shit together, and he says something a little misconstrued, and she goes in like total tsundere mode, like oh no, oh my god, I'm like, oh come on, just make your
character arc.
Make your relationship feel a little bit real, please. Like come on, you're in the same place you were 20 episodes ago.
Yeah,
it was more or less like that whole like respect for like, apprentice to master kind of thing. Like it was like more like a duty to protect rather than like a relationship, and that's what I didn't like, because I mean they never really hinted at that kind of a relationship beforehand. So
she got super jealous when she talked to everybody.
Well, yeah, and I mean it's I would have liked to have seen
really early on too.
Really early on.
Like damn.
When I'm still watching.
I really would have liked to have seen that take off somewhere, but they didn't. And like, I mean, okay, sci-fi, futuristic, shonen. Like, I expected Deus Ex Machina stuff to happen. That's why I wasn't bothered by it, but I was bothered by like that scene in episode like 9 or 10 or something where, oh, by the way, if you lose the will to fight, your power level drops in the game, and I was like, what?
That was so dumb. She kills somebody in the past, and then she remembers it, and she just breaks down. She's like, I can't believe I killed somebody in the game. Like, get over it. They just can't play. Like, go tell them in real life. Like, hey, by the way, I killed you in a game. Darn.
Yeah,
like they won't remember, but whatever. Like, she breaks down. She can't do shit. She literally can't do anything. Her avatar stops working because she's so depressed over remembering that she killed somebody in this game. And then she goes in and kills like 5 people.
It's like you're acting like you killed a real person in cold blood, and it's like it's a game.
Like in Sword Art Online, like kill each other, like that's horrible. They're dead, but not in this game.
Okay.
So
I want to talk about basketball next.
Let's do basketball.
Here goes basketball. Let's talk about a great show.
Okay,
yeah, that's a great show.
I will agree that's my favorite basketball anime.
Let's just say hypothetically
you said all ones.
There's one.
Which one?
Rokubo.
I thought that was fencing.
No, that was basketball.
Lollies in basketball.
Which is a pretty good show. Like that.
Pretty dumb.
It's pretty great.
Anyways, yeah, Kuroko basketball. I don't actually know much to say about it other than it's just awesome. I recommend to any sports fan, just watch it.
Even if you don't. Like, the thing is, I don't really even follow sports all that much, but I still really enjoyed that show.
It was so good.
Like think of it kind of like.
It's shonen in basketball.
It's shonen basketball. Like think of like Prince of Tennis, but with basketball.
Prince of Tennis is a little more crazy.
It's a little more out there, yeah.
Well, Prince of Tennis uses like kind of like supernatural elements, doesn't it?
On occasion.
Like there's things that would literally never happen in real life, no matter what. Like this game, they're pretty darn good
Technically,
players.
they can do that in real life, but it'd be fucking. But you have to be the best player in the world.
Yeah.
So it is about this show about these players called the
Generation
Miracles, where each have their own special ability, which can be game breaking and can take over a game. And after they leave middle school, they go off to different high schools and they go to teams there. And you go to this one high school that has one of the original members and another guy who is like at that level, and they make a team and they play dudes. And eventually they play other members of the Generation Miracles. Like the main guy, Kuroko, has incredible core vision and passing ability. And he has the ability to set your vision away from him.
Well, it's like a magician trick, like the sleight of
Sleight of
hand and stuff. It's like misdirection. Like they make people want to look at something else and not at what they should really be looking at. So he kind of misdirects like other people like away from like him. Like he's really sneaky.
The other guy, Kagami, has incredible jumping ability.
In the show, he actually had come back from America, I believe.
Yeah.
So, and he's like, here, blah, 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 I need more competition or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, each one of the Generation of Miracles members goes off to a different school. And so basically, it's about Kuroko and his newfound, partner in basketball, Kagami. Is it Kagami?
Kagami, yes.
Yeah. Going up against all the other teams who all each got a Generation Miracle member each. So, all these teams being carried by somebody.
Yeah.
Like, who gets carried the hardest. But it's really a great show. Like, it's one of those, it's like kind of like Code Geass, where it's like cliffhanger on, every episode. Like, I can't wait to see the next episode.
And it's kind of plausible.
And it's plausible.
Plausible at times,
yeah. Well, I mean, you could have a guy that could shoot the whole
from
court.
that far, at that high arc, maybe.
It's possible.
He was tall.
He was tall, too. So.
Yeah, dude could shoot.
Yeah.
They have Aomine. Fucking broken.
Yeah, he was their ace. He was the guy who uses and one
street
crap.
ball. He could do everything.
Yeah. Then you have Kisei who copies everybody.
Yeah.
But he tried copying Aomine, and the way this ended is actually not between Kuroko's team and somebody else. It was because they had actually I'm gonna say spoilers right now. So if you're gonna watch a show. Or if you've read the manga, maybe, if you've read the manga, you already know. The manga is actually way far ahead than where they ended. But the show is going to get a second season for sure. So if you haven't read the manga, but you are going to check out this show, spoiler right now, so just, skip or stop. But basically, they go to the regular tournament, and Kuroko's team loses horribly to Aomine because he was the Generation Miracles ace. He was so good, and he was actually full of himself, saying, the only one who can beat me is me. So they do lose, but they don't give up. That was one of the reasons why Aomine stopped liking basketball, was because he was so good that teams just didn't want to play anymore. So they would just quit. And it was no fun for him because no one could give him a challenge. But this team, Kurgo's team actually went all the way, just played it out, and he at least had to give them credit for that. But the way that it actually ends is they say, that was episode, 19 or 20? And there was 24 episodes, or 25, so I was like, okay, what are they going to do then? So they go back, they're kind of depressed about losing, but then comes back their captain from whatever, I don't know why he was gone.
He was hurt.
Oh, he was injured.
He had knee surgery.
Oh, he was injured, okay. Well, anyways, they didn't even tell us what his ability is, and he's this very laid-back, carefree guy, and you almost question if he's serious about basketball. But in the next season they're going to reveal his ability, and it's going to be so incredibly dumb. But anyways, the way they actually ended the series was preliminaries for the Winter Cup, which is actually the one that matters. And it was actually Kisei against.
No, wait. I don't think it was that. I think it was the inner high tournament, the one they lost in. It was the later games of that.
Oh, okay. And it was
finals,
it was Kisei against Kisei against Aomine, and Kisei tried copying Aomine's play style, and he actually was able to do it, but in the end, they still lost because Aomine is OP. Nerf, please.
Like the thing, and like he said, it was really cool because one thing that's really fun to watch in a lot of games, like or in shows, games, or whatnot, is that you got the protagonist and the antagonist, and you know the good guy's gonna fight the bad guy, and like the whole you want him to win, but you know in a lot of these stories you see the main guy playing or fighting or whatever over and over and over and over again. But a lot of times it's a lot of fun watching two bad guys fight. Like in Bleach, when there's two captains that weren't Ichigo and they were fighting each other. Like that was a lot of fun to watch. Like two big badass enemies fighting each other, and you get to see them like be all confident and cocky against each other. And it's not just like the main guy going, "I'm gonna get stronger," and like beat you. And so
fight for my friends.
yeah, and in this last arc of Kuroko no Basketball, it is two of the other generation of miracles playing against each other. So Kuroko's not playing; he's watching them though, and it's really fun. It's seeing these two guys who are just so good playing against each other.
It was an incredible game.
Incredible, like very like God. When the episodes ended, because it wasn't done in just one episode. Like every episode was a cliffhanger. Like, oh, I cannot wait for next.
It was like Kisei and Aomine had gone gone one-on-one many times because they played in the same team, and Kisei could never truly copy his style because it had no form. It was just free riding. Just go balls to the wall, do whatever. And Kisei kind of got the basics down, and like he said that he admired him and he can't beat him if he admires him.
Yeah.
He stopped admiring him, and then he was able to figure out his style and use it against him. And Aomine was kind of surprised.
Kisei's like he's just another human.
Yeah.
So very good show. Recommend it to anybody. Like anybody who likes exciting.
If you like basketball and anime, can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong.
So there's some people who do like that.
Yeah, it is production IG as well, and that's actually. I think I actually do like production IG more than Sunrise at this point. So
I forgot it was production IG.
It is production IG.
They are a good studio.
Yeah, they have never let me down.
Finally,
last show.
Ice cream.
Yoga.
Which actually, when you read the kanji, translates to frozen treat, which is not ice cream.
For ice cream. Okay, this show is Kyoto's project before Chunibyo this season. It's beautiful. It's clever. It's intelligent.
It is a great show, but I have issues with it.
Let's hear your issues.
My issue is that show peaked at episode 6.
Wait, right after the Uncle arc? You mean the filler in between the two arcs?
No, that arc. Episode 5, episode 6, that Uncle arc. That first arc I thought was the high point in the show. At that point, it became a very good show, but not as good as it could have been. Mm-hmm. It became a really kind of excellent slice of life, but I thought it could have been more than that.
See, and I've heard differing opinions. You think that? I read one blog that says that the Uncle arc was the dumbest, most useless part of the whole thing, and that the school festival arc with the Jumanji thief was the best one.
I thought that was the most useless thing actually.
But when you think about it, the mysteries weren't so much about the mysteries. The show, it was about the people. Let's talk about a show with character growth. This is a show with character growth. This show is about the characters. All the mysteries propelled the characters forward.
It is one of the best examples of character arcs in anime.
Exactly, and it was just so the animation was beautiful. Like, thank you, Kyoto.
Writing was sharp. Voice acting was on point.
Definitely. I mean, God, some of the visuals in that are just.
Some of the visuals are very Bakemonogatari-esque. Like during his expository sequences of explaining his logic between some things. Was very Bakemonogatari-esque.
Yeah. Well,
very
shafty. Yeah. But I mean, very intelligent. The mysteries are all like. Okay. Personally, let's go into this. Personally, I think the movie film arc
was really good.
Was the most gripping.
It was really good.
That was when I felt like the cliffhanger syndrome between those. Because I was like, oh my god. Like I tried to solve it myself. And I was like thinking like, oh my god, am I right? I wasn't.
I kind of guessed. I'm like,
because it was like
I guess I'm like that can't be it. No,
it was one of those. It was just they give the audience the clues. And that's one of the things that you didn't get with the other arcs, is that in other arcs the characters kind of like pulled the clues up as they went, and like there was no way you're gonna figure it out yourself. There's no way you knew that the student president was gonna be the guy for the Jumanji incident.
Right.
But the film one, it gave the audience everything and let them be the detective too.
Yeah.
It's like, are you right? Oh, fine, not right. But I liked it. I thought that was the most gripping one, but it always grew. It always grew the characters. I mean, the uncle arc, Hotaru got Chitanda
the entire show.
Okay, so
Everything.
so
Did I get Chitanda on Saturday?
okay, so
Chitanda all the time.
so it with an inside joke here, and I guess maybe with
It's not even an inside joke.
Brian got
That's
Chitanda
like-
last weekend for sure.
That's a thing, dude. That's
it's
a
thing.
thing.
Okay, the character, one of the characters in this show, her name is Chitanda Eru, and what she's a very cheerful and carefree kind of person, who expresses like more curiosity for things
Than
than
anyone I have ever seen in anything ever.
than a normal person should be allowed. All right, so. Her thing is that when she thinks about something, like she wonders why, and she can't get her mind off of it, then she looks to this guy Hotaru to figure it out, because his ability to figure things out when he's a very energy conserving kind of person. He's very, for lack of a better way to say it, he's lazy. He doesn't like to do more than he has to get by, but because that she's very persistent. She won't leave him alone.
Also, he's weak-willed.
He's very weak-willed, yes. She convinces him to put his brain to work and actually figure this stuff out.
Over and over again.
That's actually what I really liked about this show, was the fact that, like, how all those things were there and how anyone could have figured it out. And the way he does it is so awesome. Like, I'm like,
It's
so
really impressive.
We have like freaking Mr. like Sherlock Holmes over here without the eccentric type of personality.
It's kind of a shame, but no.
And I mean, and then you got the guy, what's his name, Satoshi Fukube.
Yeah.
And
Fukuchan.
he's a guy.
He's ideal Watson.
Well, he was a guy who really he purposely tried to lead a carefree life, and that was his whole goal, was to just have fun every
Everything
day.
in moderation.
And just have fun and not really fully commit to anything. So he doesn't really ever get dragged into this stuff, but Chitanda never leaves Hotaru alone when she gets curious about something.
She stares at him. Her eyes glow. The background changes to
Her eyes go lavender.
A foray of beautiful flowers and scenery. She says the one word, "Kirinarimasu."
Dude, I was waiting for them to say that she has some kind of special power to let her do that.
I would have been pissed if that show had turned supernatural on me. I would have been pissed. That's the one thing I love about the show, is that it was always just down to life, like a real thing.
Yeah, but so now that's a thing. So if you've seen the show,
but I mean, it just kind of went just like mystery of the day. Each episode.
Some of the fillers were, and like I don't know if it was filler because
why is this teacher pissed off? I don't know, fucking I know, bitch.
But you see, I don't know if the fillers were meant to be filler for filler's sake, or if there was something more behind it.
Yeah.
Like that episode where the announcement happened, they sat at the table all 20 minutes. There was that episode, they literally sat at the table
for 20 minutes talking about why the announcement happened. I'm like, can you stop talking about this already?
But I loved it. I felt Bakemonogatari. Like Bakemonogatari, it'll literally be an episode of 20 minutes of just talking.
But I think the dynamic between Senzugahara and the guy is much more entertaining.
They just went through an episode of theory crafting, of hypotheses and stuff, because Hotaru was trying to make a point to Chitanda. He was trying to prove to her anyone can just make a theory.
Yeah.
But is it true? And then it ended up being true because
he's
he's really smart and he gets everything right. But I mean, I think everything had a point. I don't think anything was really too wasted. Everything, even if it was a little bit, grew something between the characters.
Well, it was to show that he's like he can think like a detective and figure this.
But they kind of established that really early in. They
it
don't
does,
need to ahead with it.
But I mean, it's just like, but it shows like his thought process, like how he figures it all out.
But he doesn't believe in himself too much like that. That's the problem. He's smart, but he's just like, well, no, I'm not that smart. Like anyone could have done it. But I mean, in the film arc, when got that blue hair, Ebisu.
Yeah.
She
understood that. And
she provokes him.
Manipulated that. Too.
She manipulates him, provokes him into thinking like he is this like wonderful, like smart guy. And then eventually he realizes some stuff and has like the problem with her saying, why'd you manipulated me, you told me this stuff that wasn't true just to get me to do something for you. And she's like, yeah. But like it was so well written. It was the show, that show and Humanity Decline were the only two shows I could give a 10 out of 10 the whole season.
It's really like his skills in deduction underlies his confidence issues he seems to have. Because he doesn't really ever own up to his abilities.
Right.
He always seems like, no, I'm not that good.
The one character I felt like they focused on like the least was probably
The other chick,
what's her name?
whose name I forget.
Mayaka.
Well, during the school festival arc, they didn't. Her and Fuku went a lot, and then the Valentine's Day thing.
Yeah.
That was really big too. But they are side characters.
Yeah.
But I mean, during the school festival arc, like Satoshi, he got a lot of growth there.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a huge focus on him.
Dude was almost trying too hard.
And the fact that they could like do so much with the characters in like just one arc, I don't see that. I don't see that a lot.
I would have liked to see Chitanda's home life more. It was hardly saw
Well,
that.
I don't know. That could have been a little boring, but I don't know. It just kind of depends.
Her family's full of farmers. How is that fun?
But
well, Hotaru, let's pick up the rake.
But her family has like pull in that shit.
Yeah,
but
they're in a small town like Inaba.
what I question is the ending. I was okay with the way they ended it. I was just kind of like, okay, so what now? Like, it just didn't feel like
There's no closure. There's no closure.
Well, the closure was what they gave us, which was the new characters, what they become.
Mm-hmm.
Like, here's what we started out with.
And
here's what they
are
become.
Now.
Use your imagination. They're gonna live a happy life, whatever.
Yeah.
Like his quote unquote confession to Chitanda was copped out.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's one of those shows where I'd prefer them not to make another season because I don't know.
I don't think they will.
They go from there.
I doubt it.
No.
I mean, look at Kyoto. They don't make sequels that often. They did for K-On! Probably because it milked that cow.
Well,
yeah. But I mean, wait, was this original animation?
This was light novels, I believe.
Was it light novels? Okay. I mean,
Yes.
I don't remember, but I mean, I was okay. Like I said, I was okay with the ending. Like I knew it was more about just watching like the characters and their development rather than like a progressive story, and I was okay with that. I went into it knowing that's what it was going to be. So I can't really name my imperfections about the show off the top of my head. I mean, I'd really have to nitpick at it, and even then, I mean, it's kind of really hard for me to hate that show. So there really isn't a reason for me not to give it a 10. It's just by giving something a 10, it's like it has to be perfect, like in every way.
Are you going to sit there and tell me that this show's better than Fate Zero?
I gave Fate Zero a 10.
Right, and you say this is on that level.
I think so.
I mean, it's hard to do that because you're comparing apples to oranges. It's two entirely different.
I would watch both shows equally. Like, if you said, we're watching Fate Zero, I'd be like, okay, I'm down. We're watching Hyuga, I'm down. Here's
If
the
you
thing.
had to choose one.
It depends on my mood.
Sure.
But here's the thing. Like, what you're saying about, like, filler episodes or whatnot, I think the only episode I can really think of that I don't know what it accomplished was the pool, when he was acting as a lifeguard.
That was an OVA. Like 11, it was 11.5, basically.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a side thing.
There we go. There we go. Every episode was worth it. Anyways, I highly recommend this show. We can probably wrap this up soon.
I mean, I have my issues with it, but I like the show a lot. I like the show very, very much. Recommend it to anyone who likes anime.
Anyways, yeah, so we're going to wrap it up. Thank you very much for listening. This was 2 hours long, but I'm going to put links for different shows in it.
Also, like, probably timestamps, too.
So, yeah.
Gonna look out in like 3 months doing this all again.
Visit hazardsreviews.wordpress.com and
The Mikey Mania Chronicles at WordPress.com and .tumblr.com.
Yep, Tumblr.
God.
So, thank you very much, and please, if you want to discuss any of this, feel free, leave a comment, or go to the sites and leave comments there.
Good night and God
All right.
bless.
Thank you.